from Buffalo with the necessary repair materials. And very quickly, the workmen went to work on Saturday afternoon. The puncture had been December 30th at 4 a.m. And once that hole was repaired, it only took an hour and a half to reinflate the dome. So we are ready for Monday Night Football. And as you look at the interior of the dome and the roof, no evidence of the past damage. So we are ready, as noted, for the Cowboys against the Minnesota Vikings. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the final wind-up of the wild, truncated NFL 82 and now 83 season. Now, this game does have importance. Nearly everything's settled for the playoffs yesterday, but there is this unfinished piece of business. Should the Vikes upset the Cowboys tonight, they'll play here in the Metrodome next week against Atlanta. And should the Vikes lose tonight, they will have the unlikely prospect of going down to Texas Stadium, where the hole in the roof is real, and the unlikely prospect of defeating the Cowboys, where the Cowboys have been well-nigh invincible for so many years.
My man, this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Datsun, who invites you to test drive the exciting new Nissan Pulsar NX at your Datsun dealers. And by Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products. The Metrodome. She is all pumped up. Sellout crowd. Ahmad Rashad, I referred to him a moment ago. Cracked vertebrae in the back. His career, and what a magnificent career it was over the years, has been completed. He winds it up with 495 receptions. Just a tremendous athlete, Howard.
No question about it. Certainly one of the most graceful receivers of our time or any time in the history of pro football. Beautifully articulate. We wish him well in his new career as a broadcaster.
Ahmad Rashad joining NBC after tonight's game. Set to go now. The Minnesota Vikings will be kicking off to the Dallas Cowboys on the season. The Cowboys, who were defeated last week 24-20 in Texas by Philadelphia, breaking a 6-game winning streak. As you can see, they have dropped Ron Fellows, deep number 27. Back there with him is Timmy Newsome. Cowboys would like the ball to get to Fellows, but if you've been watching the development of Timmy Newsome over this season, you know he too can be a threat. Vikings are 4-4. We've already touched on the significance of the game for them. The Dallas Cowboy 6-2 in the final game of what Howard referred to as their truncated season tonight. This will be Timmy Newsome. Look out, Timmy. And Newsome barrels all the way out to the 35-yard line, where Danny White will bring the Cowboys onto the field. There he is. Bad game last week against Philadelphia. Danny would tell you that. 2 interceptions. He fumbled the ball a couple of times, but performance against Houston yesterday with Cincinnati, well, Danny will have to have some pretty good numbers tonight. First down, 10, 35-yard line. The Cowboys send out Drew Pearson to the right, Tony Hill to the left. First play from scrimmage. The setbacks are Ron Springs, number 20, and Tony Dorsett, number 33. Springs, left side, gets a good block and gets out close to the 40-yard line. 5-yard pickup by Ron Springs, the 4-year man out of Ohio State. 3-4 on first down. You'll see a 4-3 as Minnesota, like most teams around the league now, will be making situational changes. Matt Blair, a Pro Bowler for the 5th consecutive time over the left side for the Minnesota Vikings, number 59. Changes in the secondary made a few weeks ago have sent John Turner to free safety, number 27. John Swain to the left corner, number 29. Second down and 5. Cowboys at their own 40-yard line. From the I formation, the deep tailback slot, Tony Dorsett. The quick toss, gets a block, a good one for Springs. Good recovery over there on the far side, however. It was Dennis Johnson and Charlie Johnson moving out to hold Dorsett to about a yard pickup, where it'll be third down and about 4. Tommy Kramer loosening on the sidelines. Just healthy the past couple of weeks. He had a very troublesome tricep in his passing arm. Got it back together. Took the ball in the air 56 times against the Jets in a futile effort a week ago. Third down and 4. 4-man front now for the Vikes. In the shotgun, Danny White times it out beautifully, goes out into the flat. Complete, picks up the first down. Matt Blair over there defensively, and he collects Timmy Newsom out of the backfield, but not until Newsom has the first down near the 48-yard line. Well, that's the situation. We are inside. They've patched the hole in the roof. 23 degrees outside, just kind of above normal here in Minneapolis, as I watched on the television this evening. 65 degrees, however, inside. Right at the 48-yard line as Tony Hill is split to the left. Out to the right goes Drew Pearson. Tight end, Doug Cosby, with 27 receptions in there. And Springs is pounded. Jeff Seaman comes in there. He's filling in for an injured Scott Studwell, and Seaman has been quite a story for the Vikings. A great all-pro for many years without San Diego, and now back, and they need him. And the only coach you ever had, Don.
That's right. He's over here talking to Jim Myers right now, and he said, now somebody either missed a block or they're tipping that thing off. More than likely they missed a block. Seaman read it very well. Probably the center moved out in front. They played Minnesota several times and have done a pretty good job against them.
It was a loss of about 1.5 yards. Call a second down and 12. The ball at the 46-yard line. Dorsett single setback. 2 tight ends are in. Danny White, Tony Hill is open, and Tony Hill inside the 30-yard line. Found the gap, slowed up, was in between 3 defenders. First down, Dallas inside the 30-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings.
What he did, Frank, was what really is, I think, sets him apart from so many receivers. You'll see this pass is thrown behind him. He's made his cut. Look at the ball come in behind. Tony was able to turn around, in the air, come back. That's just, gosh, that's nice to see.
They mark it at the 27-yard line. Tony Hill, the leading receiver for the Cowboys coming into tonight, has led the Cowboys for the past 3 years. And he's missed to excitement once he catches the football.
Frill Hill.
Great throw backfield. Dorsett following Springs. Good penetration by the Vikings, however. And it was Tommy Hannon who was the second man there for the Vikings. There will be a loss, and it has not been Tony Dorsett's rushing year.
We've seen most of the clubs been stumbling a little bit here in the running games. They come back in, they say, oh, it was a strike. They didn't have this thing down, but most of the teams are passing a little bit more, and their running games have suffered some. Dallas in particular, you mentioned Tony. He's not, of course, he won't make his 1,000 yards. We've heard that a bunch of times.
Well, he needs 408 yards if he can put that together.
I don't think he's going to have it tonight. 400, no, not 408. No, he wouldn't do that.
Not for one game anyway.
Second down. Long 2, so we'll call it second down 13. Ball marked at the 30-yard line. Draw play, and Springs didn't want it. And Danny White had to unload it. I believe that Danny White was trying to give the draw to Springs.
You could see Springs come up before the snap of the ball and whisper something in Danny's ear, and he said, I don't want it, Danny. No, he didn't say that, but they did have a mix-up. You could tell that one was not going to happen right at the very beginning. He said, wait a minute. Now, hey, Russ, I don't want that ball, Danny. You take it.
I'll tell you, that's pretty heads up of Danny White not to come up with a fumble on that and then get rid of it without being sacked.
Well, he's lucky he didn't get an intentional grounding call. But notwithstanding, White seems to have the ability to make the completion that's necessary when he has to.
Third down 13. Danny a little confused. Gesticulates out to the left side where Drew Pearson is located along with Twitch Johnson. Third down 13.
Look out.
Going deep. Twitch Johnson was the intended receiver, and they had a safety blitz on Rufus Best, falling all over Danny White, and we'll see Raphael Septien on fourth down. And Septien just needs 3 points to tie Bob Hayes, and somehow or other I think they ought to put kickers in a different category. Think of all the knockdowns Bobby Hayes went through to pile up those points. Nothing against Septien.
Not only that, he had to work with Dandy.
Right. Tell you what, though, Hayes would have run under that last one. He just throw it up. Can't overthrow him.
47-yard attempt. The holder is the quarterback, the backup quarterback, Glenn Carano. Tom Rafferty will snap it. Cowboys have used a little over 4 minutes. Low kick. And Septien bounced off his duff as he slipped. And some snow had fallen to the carpet here with the hole in the roof. They said it could be a little slick. And Septien went down.
He really did, didn't he?
I'm sorry, Raphael, but that was funny.
That was funny.
It goes with the season. We'll be back. Minnesota's first possession, their own 29-yard line of scrimmage. Missed 47-yard field goal attempt by Raphael Septien. Tommy Kramer, of course, the quarterback. Ted Brown, number 23, single setback. Two tight ends are in, Sensor and Jordan. Kramer. And Kramer, they could call this for throwing away. There was no Viking eligible receiver, but no flags are down.
Talking to Tommy before the ballgame, he did mention that as far as the cornerback's concerned, I alluded to it in the opening, that Walls, Everson, when you look at what Walls has done this year, that is terrific. He has 6 interceptions. But he said that Dennis Thurman gave him a little bit more room over here. And it looked to me at that time that Tommy was trying to hit out in front of him. And maybe those big arms of Harvey Martin or Randy White blocked the vision because he did have an open man in front of Thurman.
Second down and 10. Tony Galbraith checked back into the backfield. And now it's Ricky Young, another fine receiver with Ted Brown. Out comes Steve Jordan, the extra tight end. This is Ted Brown. He does the ball for the offensive work for Minnesota. And this time he'll be dropped for a loss. Close to the 27-yard line. Loss of a couple. It'll be third down, extremely long. There is the standard 4-3 of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, I've said it before, one of the few teams that still stays with the 4-3. They do change a great deal in situations now. There is the secondary that Don referred to, 3 free agents, an 11th round draft pick in the form of Dennis Thurman. We've got a third down and 13. The ball just inside the 27. Kramer on the year, just under 58%. 32 of 56, as I mentioned a week ago against the Jets. They like to put the ball in the air. Kramer, look out. And dances down the sideline, but they say that he steps out at the 37. That's short of the first down, so we'll see the punting unit for Minnesota. Looking on anxiously tonight, I know Tampa Bay, St. Louis, and Atlanta, they'll have to make their travel plans after tonight. Because depending upon the outcome of this game, it's going to affect the lives of a lot of players and a lot of organizations. We'll get to the exacts on that in a moment. Greg Coleman will kick. Rod Hill, a rookie, first-round draft pick out of Kentucky State, where he had a phenomenal 31.8 punt return average when he led the NCAA Division II last year. Great athlete. The Cowboys say they can wait till he develops. Coleman, fine punt. Rod Hill. Timed out beautifully, hustling down for the Minnesota Vikings was John Swain. He did not interfere with Rod Hill. So a fine punt by Greg Coleman of 43 yards, and the Cowboys have the football at their own 22. No score from Metrodome in Minneapolis, 9-12 remaining in the first quarter. A capacity crowd, 62,000 plus, scrambling for tickets throughout the week. This game sold out. These teams, Don touched on a little bit, they really don't care much about each other. They've met so many times over the years in crucial games. Dallas with an edge, but Minnesota's played them well. First and 10 Dallas, the ball at their own 21-yard line. Tony Dorsett will try the left side. Big opening for Dorsett. And Dorsett, short of the first down at the 30, dropped there by Tommy Hannon. It'll be second down 1. Tony Dorsett hasn't complained about it, but he thinks that the total concentration on the passing game has hurt Dallas's running game, and I believe that's true because the offensive linemen, even themselves, there's such a difference between a pass block and a run block. Tony Dorsett's average down to 3.7 coming into tonight for the season, way below his career average. Second and 1. Just inside the 30-yard line. Cosby in motion. Dorsett has the first down out close to the 34-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10.
That gentleman is the goalie, Tretiak, of the Soviet national hockey team, which is on tour now. They've played 4 games against NHL teams. They're tied at 2-2. They lost last night to the Calgary Flames 3-2. Calgary got all its goals on power plays. Tomorrow night, they play the Minnesota North Stars right here in Minneapolis.
Wonder what they think of this game.
They like it. They're great fans.
First down 10, 34-yard line. No score. Danny White, Drew Pearson, and Pearson holds on to the football to the 45-yard line. John Swain hit him first, and then John Turner gave him a shot that could have knocked the ball loose. It did not.
Never ceases to amaze me how those guys hold that ball down there. And he got hit hard from both sides that time. And Drew's done this for a long time. He's one of your basic, as I say, credits to the game, and terrific the organization there, too. Man, he did. He got it from both sides. Held on to the ball and kept going. Awfully nice guy.
Leading all-time receiver in receptions. He needs 61 yards coming into tonight to replace Bobby Hayes for career yardage. Bobby Hayes' marks in jeopardy tonight. Septien can get his scoring mark. On first down, Ron Springs, and he is stacked up in the middle, and you better believe Charlie Johnson, acquired in September from the Philadelphia Eagles for a high draft pick, was reading that beautifully. Fine nose tackle Charlie Johnson.
But when you have a Danny White who has become such a polished precision passer, sure you turn to the pass more. No matter how Dorsett feels, you can chew up yardage as you've just seen with White throwing to the receivers he has. Much easier.
Second and long, four-man front for the Vikes. They bring in Randy Holloway, and they bring in the other defensive front man. That would be James White as they drop into their 4. Second down and 10. Checked off. Dorsett. And squirms to the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. It'll be third down and 5. Dennis Johnson, the second Viking there, made the stop.
Yeah.
In a lot of trouble up here if you're a Cowboy fan.
Oh, she probably can handle it.
Two of the finest coaches in the game, Bud Grant, Tom Landry, both of them as about emotional as the other.
You know, Bud's had kind of a semi-dry spell for the last 5 years. We get into that in a little while.
He's changed. He's broadened. He's mellowed.
Third and 5. The ball at the Vikings 40-yard line. Danny White springs, and Ron Springs ducks his head, gets inside the 30. Cowboy first down near the 29-yard line. Knopf made the stop defensively.
The way they diversify their receivers, Danny White just can cut an opponent apart. He throws high percentage passes always, as here. Just cuts them to ribbons.
Ron Springs was wide open there. You saw that third down. You know, I don't understand all these prevent defenses and things. They leave an awful lot of holes back there. Unless they get quick pressure on that passer, there's going to be some people open in that 5 to 10-yard line.
Why we're having those 500-yard games.
That's really true. I think the game has changed a great deal. I'm not taking anything away from this passing.
Springs turns inside, a good block by Donovan, but Dennis Johnson pursuing along the line of scrimmage made the stop. It'll be second down and 7.
Really an excellent play by Johnson, who didn't give up on it at all, went across field and executed the tackle from the rear. You're right about the prevent defenses. We commented on that last Monday night in Miami. As far as I'm concerned, the prevent defense is an allowed defense. And I've seen 3 teams blow ball games in the last 2 weeks playing the prevent defense, which allowed the other team to score and win.
Second down, 7. Dorsett. Again, good defensive play, and again, a fine tackle by Dennis Johnson, holding Dorsett to a couple. It'll be third down and about 4.
Oh, Dennis is wound up tonight, isn't he? He's everywhere. He is making some good plays out there.
Yeah. He was a 4th-round pick in 1980, and he played for Bud Grant in the Senior Bowl. They took him in the 4th round. He's turned into a good one for him, and you can see Septien probably...
He's practicing balance, Frank, so he won't slide.
Some new tread on his sneakers.
You can see some wet spots out there on the field, and that's what he was right in the middle all the time before. It was right one of those
snow leaks. Out of the shotgun on the passing down. Danny White. Has his 3 wide receivers to the right. That's Butch Johnson in the end zone. He's all alone. And overthrown just a bit as Butch Johnson got behind Turner and Swain. They both tried to pop him inside the 5-yard mark. They both missed, and he was wide open in the end zone, and we'll see Septien once again.
Not much room behind the goalpost in this particular stadium, and you saw that time, or maybe you didn't, but when Butch went through the end zone, he slipped, fell in against the wall.
Septien, 8 of 12 in the season, long at 53. We saw it in Houston, December the 13th. That was his career best. This will be about a 43-yard attempt. Septien, 26 of 28 inside the 40 over the last 2 years. Very accurate in short. Long snap. The Vikings, who like to go for the block, Stay on sides, and Septien stays on his feet, drills it through the uprights, and with 3:20 remaining in the first quarter, the Dallas Cowboys have taken a 3-0 lead, and we'll be back at the Metrodome in a moment.
If your boss said you...
Deep for the Minnesota Vikings, Eddie Payton, dangerous return man, number 31. Jarvis Redwine, speedster, second-year man out of Nebraska. There's Eddie Payton. Septien, with his 43-yard field goal, has tied Bob Hayes. Career points for the Dallas Cowboys. Septien. Eddie Payton, and he'll bring it out. He has to bring it out now. This is Jarvis Redwine, rather. He has been not running too many kickoffs back. He was a little tentative in the end zone, and he puts Minnesota into a deep hole.
Well, that was absurd for him to run that ball out. He was tentative. He had trouble corralling the football. He was in the end zone. Should have touched it down and gotten it out to the 20.
Great lineup coming your way here on ABC. Of course, Sports Beat with our colleague Howard Cosell hosting Professional Bowlers Tour for the 22nd consecutive year. Wide World of Sports. That's on Saturday. Sunday, the Superstars. 3 specials. USA versus the World in Amateur Boxing and ABC's Wide World of Sports. March 6th, we begin the USFL at ABC. Sports being number 1 is just the beginning. First down and 10, 11-yard line. The Vikings trailing 3-0. The toss goes out to Tony Galbraith. Cuts it back against the grain, gets out over the 20-yard line, close to a Minnesota first down.
Good first down play. Quick pitch to the outside. They caught Guy Brown on the inside. Had some blockers out there in front. Tony is the kind of guy that they were really, they thought he'd fit in up here, and maybe this interrupted season has hurt him quite a bit.
Maybe, but I'll tell you this. Anytime you throw the ball to Galbraith, whether it's a shovel pass or pitch as that was, or downfield, you're throwing to as sure-handed a man as there is in football. He is a great receiver.
Tommy Kramer brings the Vikings up. Looks over the 4-3 flex defense of the Cowboys. McCullum out to the left. Ted Brown.
Good move.
Ted Brown, nifty runner, and he struggles up close to the 30-yard line. Second effort, and he'll get about 8 yards out of it.
People commonly regard Bud Grant as a conservative, but that was based upon his personality. Up to about 5 years ago, the truth is that there is no less conservative coach in the business than Bud Grant. He has more offensive sets in his offense than any other team in the National Football League.
Little addendum to those numbers. Bud Grant in the last 5 years is under 500 football, however. He's won 35 and lost 36 in regular season play. And he also has been in the playoffs 2 times during the past 5 years. Second down 3. Ted Brown. Brown close to the 35 for Minnesota first down. John Dutton draws him to the carpet along with Bob Bruni.
Interesting, Dandy. He's going right at that famed front 4 with the run.
Well, he did, except the play before when he went over, they caught Ed Jones on the inside and slipped around there, picked up some yardage. I think this is a good move. Minnesota's a passing team, and Dallas comes in expecting a lot of passes, as did we. If they can run the ball a little bit, that'll just kind of set things down a little bit, slow them down. Good move.
2 tight ends now for Minnesota. Joe Sensor playing with a very sore knee and elbow. Perhaps the finest receiver on the field right now for the Vikings, with Rashad out and Sammy White out. Ted Brown collides with Vinnie Barnes coming up in a strong safety position. Vinnie will play it like a linebacker.
He does. They get a 5th linebacker, another linebacker up there with him coming up like that.
Quick news note, gentlemen. Mike McCormick has been named president, general manager of the Seattle Seahawks. He will not coach next season. One of his first duties will be to select his successor as head coach. I can name 3 likely ones.
Name himself. He did quite a job with Seattle when he took it over. Second down, about 10. Kramer never even saw it as he had Cowboys in his face. There was a blitz on as he tried to get to McCullum. Mike Hagman was right in the face of Tommy Kramer.
But you put it right at the top of the show, Frank. You pointed out how timing is so important in the Bud Grant passing offense. And there, without Rashad, without White, very hard for McCullum to come in there and Terry LeCount or anybody else and execute.
You would know that, Don, how important it is to work with receivers.
I just always threw it down as far as I could, hope somebody ran under it, frankly.
Particularly when you forgot to play.
Yeah, forget to play. Throw it real far downfield.
Just a few seconds remaining in the first quarter. Cowboys on top, 43-yard field goal, Septien. 3rd and 10. Kramer. Oh, good catch by little Leo Lewis. He's only 5'8" and 170 pounds. He's come up with some big plays, however, since Sammy White went down 3 weeks ago. And he gets the first down just as the gun sounds the end of the first quarter.
You'll see Michael Downs come across from his safety position. The ball's well thrown. He goes up, has it right there. Again, I'm very impressed when those guys hold on to that thing.
Much concentration by Leo Lewis, and the Vikings have a 1st and 10. They're at their own 46-yard line. They trail by 3. The Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, in his first year of professional football here in Minneapolis, built at a cost of $55 million. And had a little problem earlier in the week, as a matter of fact last Thursday, but they put it back together in great shape, and a capacity crowd plus over 62,000 on hand tonight. We begin the second quarter, 1st down 10. The Vikings 46-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, and the Vikings down 3-0. Kramer has the time, tries to dump it off, intended for Galbraith, but he was looking downfield for a sensor.
They pretty well covered downfield. You see a quarterback move around like that, that's your first indication, because he's going to go back and wants to release it as quick as he can.
First quarter statistics, Dandy. Virtually even in rushing. Big passing edge to Dallas. Total yards, the edge to Dallas. Time of possession, overwhelmingly Dallas. Neither team with a turnover. A very swift first quarter. In times of time expended, not a single penalty in the first quarter. So far, brisk ball game.
2 wide receivers, split to the left. Leo Lewis and Terry LeCount. Sam McCullum to the right on 2nd down and 10. Kramer, and it's picked off by Dennis Thurman. He's down the sidelines. Kramer's the last one that can save it.
Bye-bye.
Dennis Thurman, he's been beaten a lot, but he will still take the gamble, and this time Thurman picks it off into the end zone. Touchdown, Dallas.
Oh, Tommy.
He hung that up there, Don.
He did, and Dennis had a terrific angle. He was trying to get to the outside. Dennis saw it. He made his break before the receiver did. Tom may have to think about coming back throwing on wall side now, because that's where he said I was going to go.
Watch this. Instant decision. Thurman had made up his mind he was going to have a go at the football. Perfectly positioned. And this young man, whom we have openly said was failing at the cornerback position, tonight atones, at least in some measure, for past misfeasance.
He is a football player. They would like to play him at safety, where he played a year ago.
Better equipped there.
And they figured that Rod Hill, the #1 draft pick, will work his way into that cornerback, and they could put Thurman back at safety. We're watching Septien adding the extra point. Toronto gets it down. Slides it through the uprights, and the Cowboys have taken a 10-0 lead early going of the second quarter.
I think one of the defenders actually touched that football, but it still had enough strength to go right through the uprights.
It's an amazing team in that area. They've blocked more field goals and extra points than any team in the National Football League.
They made a career of it, haven't
they work on it. They really do. They put their best athletes in there and try to get it. Thurman's kind of got a good sense of humor. He's kind of the get up and go holler kind of guy. And so he jokes a lot about being the weak link back there. And he said, hey, the only thing about it is tell coach to call good plays, not offense.
Consider a good old boy.
Yeah, he did.
Just hang in there, Sherry.
Don't have the baby till I get home. And man in the booth could have given that message.
Septien bangs it. Jarvis Redwine, speedster, second-year man from Nebraska, and he is banged at the 25. It gets to the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10, Minnesota, rapidly getting in trouble. 14:34 remaining in the first half. They're down 10-0. Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, our finale of Monday Night Football for this truncated season. Except, of course, for the Pro Bowl, February the 6th. We'll tell you a little bit about that. We've got some performers out here tonight who will be in Honolulu. 1st down and 10, Minnesota. 27-yard line. Ted Brown, big opening. Brown stays on his feet out over the 40-yard line, breaking a tackle. An attempt there by Michael Downs, and Ted Brown ran right through him. Gets the 1st down at the 41-yard line.
Had to be a real Good block on Dutton. Brunig comes up the middle, 53. That's the middle linebacker. He didn't close. They kind of had a little blitz with Mike Hegman, 58. He got behind the line of scrimmage, and they got right through the middle of it. Good run by Ted.
Good athlete. First-round draft pick in 1979. He is the latter-day Chuck Foreman for Bud Grant. Prime receiver. He caught 9 only a week ago. Handles the ball, one would think, about 2/3 of the time. Brown once again. Brown struggles to the 45-yard line. Give him 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And he picked up 4 on their own.
Pro Bowl, of course, which Frank mentioned, will be February 6th in Hawaii. I knew you'd come up with that. In Hawaii, the island of Oahu, Honolulu.
The Wahine right there, too.
7 of the Cowboys will be there, including Danny White and Tony Dorsett. The Vikings, 1 representative, 6th consecutive time will be the outstanding linebacker, Matt Blair. 2nd down, 6. Sensor in motion. Lucky he didn't have this one picked off. He tried to go to LeCount, and it was Dennis Thurman
again.
Riding herd once again.
He's giving us a game tonight.
Randy White was right all over the poor old Tommy Joe back there, too. You can see Randy White jump over a guy, 54, right there. Come in. That is not that much fun throwing like that, guys.
We're going to run down the games that are coming up for you, the playoff games. Congratulations to all of them. But if Minnesota should win tonight, Tampa Bay will go to Dallas. St. Louis will be at Green Bay on Saturday. Atlanta is here on Sunday. Tell you what happens in the event of a Dallas win, and they lead 10-0 here in the early going of the 2nd quarter in just a moment. 3rd down and 6. LeCount in motion. Shotgun for Kramer, and he just does get it away. A blitzing Anthony Dickerson levels him.
He's been doing a good job in that particular category this year. They send Dickerson in these situations, long situations. He's got great speed, real good quickness. And there's just some people have a better knack for rushing the quarterback than others do. But you'll see Dickerson. Here's Big Ed coming out on the outside. And right in the middle comes Anthony.
He was effective this way last week in the losing game against the Eagles, Dickerson.
Reminds me a little bit of Thomas Henderson's quickness and speed. They're about the same size. And
well, they play 2 people over there, 4. They get the effect of one Henderson, I guess. Guy Brown is in there against the run, and they bring Dickerson in against the pass. Rod Hill is dropped for the Cowboys. Greg Coleman will run it. He will not make it either.
Oh, wait a minute.
It will be very close.
He got it.
Great effort by Greg Coleman.
Really?
The tackle reversed his field, and that could put some life into the Vikings.
You won't see that too often. What a great effort.
Well, tonight's the night for it. They ought to do all of that sort of stuff. I believe that was Billy Joe Dupree at right 89. Had him right there. Billy Joe hasn't worked on he hadn't worked on the blocking sled, tackling sled, anything for a while.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys have dropped their picket line. They're running backwards, Don.
And Jeff Rohr, that's true. Rohr was number 50. He was the guy that also was supposed to contain out there.
First time in 4 years, we understand that Greg Coleman has run out of the punt formation. Well, he is successful, and a key play it is.
First time he's run for a game. But he sure picked a good time.
Inside the 41-yard line of the Cowboys. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Kramer, LeCount. And LeCount short of the first down, stepping out of bounds inside the 34-yard line for a gain of about 6.
Now, LeCount's in a little different category. There is the Soviet national hockey team watching the game.
They should have a little bit more fun than that. I mean,
LeCount has had some sparkling efforts in brief stints for the Vikes, most particularly against the Chargers a year ago when the Vikes upset them, and LeCount was the dominant factor. So Kramer has had experience throwing to LeCount, much more than to McCullum.
Marked at the 34-yard line. 2nd down, long 3. Sensor in motion. And Ted Brown, big hole in the middle, and Ted Brown almost breaks another tackle. Would have been a much larger game, but he gets the first down at the 25-yard line.
You see that happen every now and then. They'll break right up the middle. That's Watts Brunig, number 53. He's going with the flow of the fullback. There's nobody in there. You got Michael Downs coming up from the secondary. That particular defense they had called, Brunig's job was to go with that first back. Who happened to be the fullback, didn't have the ball.
Super block by Jim Huff against All-Pro Randy White. He just did a one-on-one stand-up, and Ted Brown zipped right by him, got the first down. That run by Coleman really brought the crowd to its feet. Spencer in motion. Galbraith struggles on the right side for maybe 2. It'll be second down and 8. We mentioned what would happen should Minnesota win. A Dallas victory tonight. It'll be easy on the coaches because Minnesota will be playing at Dallas next Sunday, and Tampa Bay will go up to Green Bay on Saturday, while St. Louis will be at Atlanta on Sunday.
Well, that man doesn't relish the thought of going to Dallas and to Texas Stadium, and he was very blunt in saying so. He knows how hard it is to beat the Cowboys there, though they can be beaten, as the Eagles proved a week ago.
And the Steelers in our first game of the year. That's right.
Second down and 8 from the 24-yard line. Tommy Kramer very wisely underthrowing LeCount because once again Dennis Thurman was there.
This is the best game we have seen Dennis Thurman have on a Monday or Thursday night since he's been in the league.
We're going to probably see him have some more opportunities tonight because I figured that Minnesota's going to stay with that game plan for a while, and they're going to throw in that area. So we'll see how he stacks up as the night goes along.
Third wide receiver now on 3rd and 8 for Minnesota. That's little Leo Lewis, who's made some big plays. He now has 8 receptions for the Vikings and has scored 3 touchdowns. He's split out to the left by Tommy Kramer. As we look from the end zone, that would be your right.
Look at 51 right in the middle. That's Dickerson. That's their pass defense.
Here he comes.
There they come, and he got somebody open.
McCullum and Kramer read the blitz beautifully. First down, Minnesota, near the 12-yard line.
That was very good because he didn't have any time to get away with that. That's just where the shotgun offense comes in. He's back there already, has the ball, can get rid of it. If he had come back from under the tee, ball would not have been complete.
This whole drive triggered by Greg Coleman's astounding run. First right out of the grasp of Billy Joe Dupre, number 89, then left across the field. Still enough foot speed to turn the corner, get the first down that, as I said, triggered this whole drive.
And the drive continues at the 12-yard line of the Cowboys. The Vikings down 10-0. Galbraith just keeping the defense honest as Galbraith up the middle. It'll keep the Cowboys, and I don't really think you have to keep this man's defense in line because they are on tracks really in 4-3, the 4-3 that Tom plays. You take an outside, you take an inside step, and you'd better not vary it.
I wonder if this will be Tom's last year with the 4-3. That might bear some discussion later, Frank.
I think he'll become much more flexible with it. There was a gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. The Vikes can make a first down at the 2-yard line. Ted Brown rolling into big John Dutton, being thrown back, but he surges close to the 5-yard line, where it'll bring up a third down and just about 4.
Uh-oh, Brown's hurt.
Ted Brown,
That they can't
on the
afford.
carpet. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him. He's clutching at his stomach.
They have not used that number 1 draft choice tonight yet, Darren Nelson, the speedster.
There is Dutton handling Ted Brown, who never seems to quit. And that is a whole lot of weight on top of somebody. John Dutton going about 275. Big Ed Jones 272. And Brown remains on the carpet. We'll be back with a report in just a moment. Back in the Metrodome, downtown Minneapolis, capacity crowd. The Vikings trail the Dallas Cowboys 10-0. 10:01 remaining in the first half, but the Vikings are on the prowl near the 5-yard line with the third down and a long 3.
Wide split up the middle there.
Brown left the field under his own power. Should be back. Galbraith.
Good read by Dickerson. Oh, he was out there in a hurry.
And a loss all the way back to the 9-yard line. We'll see the field goal unit. I'm sure that Brown is all right.
Well, we're told he's got some damage to his left shoulder. We're not quite sure yet how much. In the meantime, Dandy, again, shovel passes in the backfield when you're down close, and the way you want to go is straight ahead.
I'll tell you, that was really an outstanding defensive play by Anthony Dickerson again, who really came from that middle, and he really was over there in a hurry.
Boy, he is quick. Came all the way from the middle as we watch Dan Meyer. 27-yard effort. Stills gets it down. And the Vikings are on the scoreboard. They trail by 7. 27-yard effort by Rick Danmeyer. He becomes 8 of 14 for the season. 9:02 remaining in the first half. We'll be back. Danmeyer shakes him up a bit. He drives Newsom back to the 4-yard line. The big speedster stays on his feet. Finally goes down near the 18-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. Dallas tackled by John Swain. Let's take a look at the playoff picture.
Yes. NFC, if Dallas should win tonight, Detroit would be at Washington Saturday, Tampa Bay at Green Bay, Minnesota at Dallas, as we've noted earlier Sunday, St. Louis at Atlanta. However, if Minnesota wins, St. Louis at Green Bay. If Minnesota wins, Detroit at Washington, St. Louis at Green Bay, Tampa Bay at Dallas, and they gave Dallas a tough 14-9 game earlier this year in Atlanta at Minnesota. Give you the AFC in a moment.
1st down and 10. Out of the I formation, the Cowboys. Tony Dorsett with the play action, and Danny White up on top. Tony Hill turned inside. Danny White thought he was going outside. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
All right, let's look at the AFC matchup. Saturday, Cleveland against the Raiders in L.A. New England at Miami with the help of a plower of snow. Sunday, the Jets at Cincinnati. What an assignment. And it's not going to be easy for the Chargers in the cold of Three Rivers Stadium. And if Bradshaw is hot, they can beat anybody, Candy.
What did Jack Lambert say? I hope it snows a foot. Yeah. Bring them on. 18-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Dorsett following Springs. Gets a block from Springs. And down the sideline, short of a 1st down, as he steps out just about the 25-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. Good block, Ron Springs. He's getting better with each passing game. We're going to be talking with Joe Paterno, who finally has accomplished it all, I guess, in college football. Maybe you can ask him, Howard, if he would reconsider the many no's he has said to the professionals.
I just think he's one of the great people. If he's listening in the studio, he knows how I feel about him. In some ways, he's like Lombardi. They both grew up in Brooklyn. I taught them both.
I knew you were going to get that in.
3rd down 3. Cosby in motion from the shotgun. Danny White looks for Springs, and he has to throw behind because good coverage by the 3rd-year man out of SC, Dennis Johnson, who's playing himself a football game tonight.
About Joe Paterno, you always get the feeling that maybe his proudest accomplishment wasn't even finally winning the national championship. He had deserved to be named the winner of that some years back with unbeaten teams. But maybe it's the kind of person he turns out. Knowing these kids, watching them come up into the pros, he turns out men.
There is Eddie Payton, brother of the Chicago Bears, Walter Payton, as is widely known. Danny White to do the punting. Lots of time, and Danny White hangs it high, gets it to turnover. Payton from the 33. And taken immediately is Ron Fellows, hustling downfield as he does so well on the special unit of the Dallas Cowboys. We have timeout with 8:30 remaining in the first half. It's 10-3, Dallas over Minnesota. Payton limping off the field.
Sharp introduction.
Danny White hammered a 43-yard punt. Walter Payton could only negotiate 3 yards out of it. 1st down and 10, Minnesota, their own 35-yard line. Galbraith and Brown back in the game, number 23, the setbacks for the Vikings. Ted Brown.
Good play.
Ooh, and easing out there with Ted Brown was big Harvey Martin from his defensive right end position. Gain of maybe 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Guy Brown was out there also, 59, and they just strung that one out. You're right. Caught that one. That was the kind of pitch we saw earlier. He picked up some yardage on that 1st down. That time they played it pretty well.
D.D. Lewis, who played over there, I think, 13 years, must be fairly proud. They used 2 linebackers to fill his big shoes. Retired after last season. Guy Brown plays running situations, and Dickerson is in on the pass. Right linebacker for the Cowboys. Second down and 8. Brown, or Galbraith rather, and Galbraith gets the first down. Midfield, Galbraith eased out into the right flat, just kind of found the opening back across the middle, and a Cowboy is slow getting up.
That's Guy Brown that's slow getting up, and he was the man. Galbraith gave him a good move to the outside, came back in on him, and Guy never could catch up.
Well, this is the Galbraith I was talking about, who's so good as a receiver coming out of the backfield. He's built like a bull, maybe a horse.
Well, there ain't but 2 horses, and that's Herschel Walker. We know that.
Guy Brown is being attended to. Looks like it might be a shoulder or perhaps a neck problem. We'll be right back. There's Jim Huff. He is strong.
5-year man, Utah State. Knew a fellow from Utah State, 5B, came to New York, playing the Gotham Bowl, an ill-fated venture. His name, Merlin Olsen.
You saw how much for the first down, and the Vikings send out their offensive unit. Kramer stays on.
Well,
2 tight ends are in, Sensor and Jordan, and they bring in Curtis Rouse. Big rookie at 6'3" and 290 pounds out of Chattanooga.
he is huge. He's got a big future. Quick-footed kid.
4th down and inches. And Ted Brown gets the first, almost gets into the end zone. It'll be first down, goal to go inside the 1. And going over that left side where I mentioned a moment ago, Harvey Martin has retired, at least for a breather after being shaken up, was Ted Brown. Ran right out of his sneaks. Crowd is really getting fired up now as Minnesota is within a possible tying score. The first down, goal to go.
And it's uncanny. They do play Dallas well.
They do. Dallas, their offense has not moved the ball very well tonight, and they've been able to control that ball. Minnesota has. They do play them well.
Key to Dallas's failure, 2 overthrows of Butch Johnson by Danny White. Dallas could have had 2 TDs.
Ted Brown runs into his own man, and the surge carries him back. The Vikings are saying that he got in second effort with the whistle had blown. It'll be second down, goal to go.
This is where you don't want to do anything real fancy. You're so close right now. Just push the ball on in there, get your score, come back, have this thing tied up. Maybe this crowd can help. I believe crowds do. I think when the home crowd gets behind the team, it really kind of fires them up.
The Vikings will not get another playoff before the 2-minute warning. That will give Kramer an opportunity not to use a timeout, but go over and have a little conference with head coach Bud Grant. There is the 2-minute warning. And the Vikings, they're down 10-3. They have a second down, goal to go inside the 1 of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back. Metrodome in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Vikings trying to stay home next Sunday and host the Atlanta Falcons. And if they win tonight, they can do just that, while the Cowboys will return to Texas Stadium and host Tampa Bay as the playoffs in the big Super Bowl tournament get underway. 16 teams out of 28 qualifying.
Don't want to put the whammy on this, but interestingly, no penalties thus far. One has to wonder if Dallas is playing up to its ability, knowing they're safely in the playoffs. Certainly the Vikes look like they want to win more than Dallas up till now.
Second down, goal to go. Each team has 3 timeouts. A quick score by Minnesota, and Dallas would have plenty of time to get on the scoreboard again. And no indication of a touchdown. Yes. Ted Brown. They unpile it, and the Vikings are within a conversion of tying it up. Minnesota sands their 2 top receivers. Ahmad Rashad out with broken vertebrae, and Sammy White with a bad knee have tied up the Cowboys, or within a conversion of doing so. Here's Rick Danmeyer.
You mentioned about the Minnesota seeming to want to win a little bit more than Dallas. I sense that too. You wonder, you see them play some games, they're just unbelievable world beaters, and Denmark knocks it through. And other games, it looks like Dallas doesn't really care, that they've been reading a newspaper about themselves. They just don't go out there and play like they can.
We'll be back at the Metrodome with more action after this message from the National Football League. That touching message brought to you by the Minnesota Vikings' Joe Sensa, their fine tight end, and the National Football League. 1:51 remaining in the first half. The Dallas Cowboys have 3 timeouts. Rick Danmeyer getting ready to kick off. It looked like the Metrodome being blown up. That's exactly what it is.
That's about the way they did it.
Ron Fellows has dropped number 27 along with Timmy Newsom for the Cowboys. Danmeyer trying to get the ball to Fellows, kicks it short, and is taken by Cosby, the tight end.
There goes the flag.
Is down, first time tonight, as Cosby works his way to the 25-yard line. Our referee tonight is Bob McElwee. First time we've had a chance to talk about him. And typically, if you follow this game, and the Cowboys will be backed up towards their goal line.
Tom looks kind of quizzical there.
He has for years.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 14 on the return. First down.
Teddy's a happy man with good reason. Performing splendidly tonight. Joe Paterno in our New York studio. We'll be talking with him during the course of halftime. That shows you the domination of Minnesota in this quarter.
First down and 10, 14-yard line. Cowboys out of the shotgun. They have 3 timeouts. 1:46 on the clock. Danny White, all the time he could ever ask for, finally works it out to Timmy Newsom. Out of the backfield. Newsom short of the first down.
It's one of those things, Howard, you're talking about in your prevent defense. Well, I don't know what they're preventing. If you don't get some pressure on that quarterback, he's going to find somebody open after a while. That's all there is
like
to
a
it.
big purple dartboard.
That's it. Just wait out there and pick it up.
Second down 1. The clock is ticking away. White. Cosby does not hold on. A rare occasion for the tight end, Doug Cosby. Good hands on this man.
Very rare occasion. We're not seeing Danny White at his best tonight, that's for sure. A reminder of the 2 overthrows to an absolutely free Butch Jackson.
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
And by the way, Harold Jackson's back.
Hey, that's a scoop, too. We don't know about that. They found him hunting someplace. They ran out of receivers up here and got Harold Jackson back.
We have not seen Harold Jackson in the lineup yet for Minnesota. They just activated him yesterday. The NFL's leading active receiver, as a matter of fact, all time over his 15 years. Third down and 1 for the Cowboys. 1:16 on the clock. Inside handoff, and up in it is Ron Springs. He'll be short of the first down, I think. They really popped.
Dallas has not decided, I don't think, whether they want to run or whether they want to throw tonight. Every offensive, particularly on the offense, they just seem like they're just walking around out there. They haven't set up a run or a pass with any type of consistency, and they just kind of walk around and say, hey, we're going here in a little while.
I didn't even think they'd bother measuring this one. And meanwhile, Minnesota has 3 timeouts. And the Cowboy punting unit is out on the field. And 1:08 on the clock. We have a tie score at 10. And the Vikings, who are excellent at blocking kicks of all kinds, now they get their timeout. And they got the timeout before the clock started. 1:08 remaining. Bud Grant looks on. He has 3 timeouts. The Cowboys will punt.
All right, Coach Bill Walsh, San Francisco, winner of the Super Bowl a year ago, learned the hard way yesterday how fleeting fame can be in the world of sports. Vince Ferragamo, another big day for him. And this was the action, fourth quarter, 2014 49ers. And Ferragamo, who failed with the Montreal Alouettes, throwing deep downfield, number 84, George Farmer, that tied it up. The extra point gave the Rams the 21-20 edge. And then, in the waning moments of the game, an apparently easy field goal for Ray Wersching, but the kick was low. Ivory Sully got his hands on it. The Rams won it.
4th down and 1. Danny White is dropped. One will not suspect that Danny White will be running from this position. That is Rufus Betts. Eddie Payton getting a little breather. You saw him limp off earlier. Beautiful punt by Danny White. So high. And goes out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So Minnesota has a 1st and 10. A minute and 1 second remains here in the first half, and the Vikings have 2 timeouts.
And that kick out of bounds saved them. They just can go ahead and take the time to line up, stop the clock again.
Metrodome livening up. The Vikings were down at one point 10-0. They have played their kind of football. That is steady, very few mistakes. And now they have brought it to a tie at halftime. Tommy Kramer looks over the Dallas 4-3. Ball inside the 38-yard line. Inside handoff, Ted Brown. He's upended. Gets maybe 2 yards out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 8. That play, one would suspect, just to keep the Cowboy front 4 honest. They're going to be that way anyway.
Well, they took the middle linebacker out. They were trying to break it real quick up the middle. Had another play call.
Oh, Kramer just throwing it out of bounds as Anthony Dickinson picked up and covered well. Ted Brown out of the backfield. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Good pressure by Bethea that time.
Excellent.
He's, as we mentioned earlier, Harvey Martin, we haven't gotten a report, but limped off earlier. Bethea's the guy that had that heavy burden in life. Great potential when he came in, and they've been waiting for him to move somebody out. So far, they haven't been able to do that.
He tried it.
Move out.
He tried it in '79 when Ed Jones tried boxing. And, well, it just didn't work out for him. A 1st-round draft pick out of Michigan State. But he was pressuring that time, number 76, Larry Bethea.
Didn't work out for Ed Jones either.
Well, he was undefeated. 3rd and 8.
Interception by
Walsh. By the NFL's leading interceptor. He gets his 7th of the season. He had already won that title with 6 coming into tonight.
What great reaction.
Put that together with what he did last year, 11 of them.
But that was a tough break for the Vikes because 84, Sam McCullum, slipped to the ground. Now Dallas has a good shot for a field goal.
But look at this move. Coming over the top. And just does that. That's terrific.
Interesting stat. And Howard, I was looking up. That was his 52nd interception, counting his senior year in high school back in Dallas, and, of course, his career at Grambling.
He didn't even play till he was a junior.
Yeah.
Didn't play football till he was a junior.
And the guy was gathered in as a free agent. You'll wonder where the scouts were.
Well, there was a question as to whether or not
Fast enough.
he was quick enough. 30 seconds, Danny White looking, and down he goes. Somebody's got him by the britches. Down at the 45-yard line.
Oh, they just are not smooth, are they?
Not tonight.
They weren't last week.
Don't forget, if it hadn't been for that one lazy cross-field errant throw by Kramer,
Yes.
that produced the Thurman interception for a touchdown, the Vikes would be ahead.
Dallas has 2 timeouts as they stop the clock with 25 seconds.
May I take you, ladies and gentlemen, back in time? 61, October 8th. First time the Cowboys met the Vikes, 2 old friends going at one another. The day seemed to start auspiciously on that occasion for a scrambling gentleman wearing number 10, Sir Francis Tarkenton. Back he went. And he connected, in this case, to Jerry Reichow out of Iowa. Remember him? And he was connecting throughout the day in this manner, but never did get the ball into the end zone. On the contrary, his adversary, the angular number 17, Don Meredith,
Look at that arm. Look at that arm.
Clark, touchdown. And the Cowboys went on to win it 28-0.
Out of sight, out of sight. Man.
You know what I love about that?
What?
Your highlights are also in black and white.
You know what I like about it?
What?
You had a terrible build.
Hey, how about the arm? The ball was right there. That was the Houghton. That was Don Bishop. It knocked whatever his upper name out. I know those guys. What can I tell you?
Sack on Danny White. Second down now at about 18. The ball near the 45-yard line of the Cowboys. 25 seconds remain in the half. We're tied at 10. Cowboys have 2 timeouts. Dorsett bobbles it. Maybe a good thing he did.
Oh, me.
This does not look like a Cowboy team.
Rafferty actually made a pretty good shot there to come back and at least protect Tony a little bit. Everson, that a way to go. Everson. Telling you, he is that's sharp.
7 interceptions in a 9-game season, and tonight's not over.
That's a good point. We can expect to see that ball in the air quite a bit, I think, before we call this one a night.
Third down and 18. 20 seconds on the clock. Cowboys still with 2 timeouts. They'd like to get within range of Septien. They need to get somewhere around the 40-yard line.
Look out.
Almost picked off.
Yeah.
It was intended for Drew Pearson, and John Turner, the old cornerback, moved to the free safety, holds his helmet, said, oh, I should have had that one.
Well, he should have. That ball, he played it really well, stayed back, saw Drew coming down, and he came back in to pick it up. You see Pearson coming down. Let's just watch it. He did draw a crowd. And look at number 27. That's John Turner. And John should have picked that one off. Hit him in a bad spot.
Fourth down, and Dallas trots out the punting unit with 15 seconds remaining on the halftime clock. Reminding you again, we're talking live, or rather Howard will, with Joe Paterno, who's Nittany Lions are number 1 for the first time ever under his tutelage. That's hard to believe. I didn't believe it when I first started talking about that a few weeks ago. Danny White just captures a beauty. And it's too pretty. It moves into the end zone with 5 seconds remaining on the halftime clock. And the Vikings will have a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Now we're advised Eddie Payton's knee is sore, and he may not be back for some of his kick-running functions.
Dome for sale cheap. Well, they had brought in a Teflon-coated piece of fiberglass that weighed about 5,000 pounds. They brought it in, what, on Friday, Howard? Strung it together Saturday, blew it up yesterday. And so far, everything is working. Let's keep it that way. First down, Kramer holds on to the football.
Hey.
Talking about some of our traveling crew who put out a very interesting cookbook. They went to some of the fine watering holes.
Didn't we, though?
We'll be second half underway. Septien approaches deep for the Minnesota Vikings, and awaiting the ball was Jarvis Redwine, and Jarvis again lets this one bound through the end zone. Earlier in the game, a little tentative, this youngster who has taken on new chores here at the Minnesota Vikings. Cost the Vikings a first down at their own 14. This one he lets bound out of the end zone, and it'll be first down at 10, 20-yard line for the Vikings. 4-4 on the season thus far. Cowboys 6-2 into tonight's game. I do not see a flag, but I see referee Bob McElwee indicating that the kickoff unit for the Cowboys was offside, and that will mean that Septien will have to kick it again. And that will be from the 30-yard line following the penalty. And keeping in mind, once again, the importance of this game. If Minnesota should win tonight, they will host the Atlanta Falcons here next Sunday. Tampa Bay then will travel to Dallas, and St. Louis will be at Green Bay. Should the Cowboys go on to win tonight, Minnesota will have to travel to Dallas, where they meet the Cowboys again next Sunday. Tampa Bay will be at Green Bay on Saturday, and St. Louis at Atlanta on Sunday. Set to go once again, Jarvis Redwine and Darren Nelson, the rookie #1 draft pick and great All-American from Stanford, awaiting the kick of Septien. We have not seen Nelson in the offensive unit for the Vikings thus far tonight. Septien whacks it. This will be Darren Nelson from the 2-yard line. And Nelson, nice run back out of the 25-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 as Tommy Kramer brings the Vikes out. Okay. Let's take a look at the first quarter stats, and then we'll switch them over to halftime stats.
Okay, Giff, the first quarter, as you can see, not a major differential, but an edge to Dallas and an edge in controlling the football of about 6 minutes. But as one moves down to the second quarter and the halftime statistics, total reversal. In that second quarter, Minnesota made 9 first downs to none for Dallas. 70 yards rushing to 7 for Dallas. 61 passing to 1 for Dallas. 131 yards to 8 for Dallas. And it was total domination by the Vikes. Frank?
First down and 10, and Darren Nelson stays in the offensive unit for the Minnesota Vikings. The first-round draft pick. Movement, and it looked like the right side of the Vikings. Tim Irwin perhaps offside for the Vikes. But we now have setbacks for Minnesota of number 20, Darren Nelson, and Ricky Young, 34.
Number 76, offense.
Irwin, right tackle, offsides for Minnesota. Darren Nelson, he did it all at Stanford. He has been brought into the offensive unit very slowly by Bud Grant. Last week, his best day in the pros, 48 yards on the ground against the Jets. But what a career he had. The first NCAA college player to rush for over 1,000 yards and catch 50 passes in the same season, and he did it 3 times. Now he comes back out, and Ted Brown comes back in. Ted Brown, single setback. That's a situational change. I think we'll see Darren Nelson later as it's first down and 15. And Brown held for about a 2-yard pickup as he moves over the left side. John Dutton in there with help from his friends. It'll be second down now and about 14. Ted Brown, Mr. Everything for Bud Grant. Good receiver. Fine runner. Not a power runner, but he carries size at about 210.
Tell you, Don, should the Vikes prevail tonight, Dallas can't be happy about the thought of playing Tampa Bay with that great Buccaneer defense.
Well, Tampa Bay's not happy about going to Green Bay either. Second down, 14. Kramer fires to Sam McCullum, and McCullum comes down with the ball. With the experience, the wide receiver gets the first down. At the 32-yard line.
He had to catch that one. It was there when he turned around. Wasn't it? Zap! I got that one.
But they're sticking to that game plan. They're working on Dennis Thurman still, despite Dennis's fine first half.
You can see Sensor, the tight end, stay in the backfield to block. When McCullough turned around, the ball was there. Thurman had pretty good coverage on him. The ball was just thrown before he made his break.
McCullum, of course, quite a headline figure at the early going of the strike situation. Released as a player representative of Seattle, picked up by the Vikings, who, by the way, had him back in 1976. But he was a starter for Seattle. And he's in there now because of the injuries to Rashad and Sammy White. On first down, Darren Nelson. And down goes Nelson, but not until he works out over the 40-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. Everson Walls there defensively first for the Cowboys. Darren Nelson, 5'9", 180-pounder, but incredibly strong. Good track man. Had a 9.4 100.
He's had a little difficulty in settling in up here. He just said outright when the draft says, I don't want to go up there and play. And then he had trouble signing his contract. Maybe you get that all behind him and he'll get it settled out and say, this is not bad. They built a nice house for him to play in.
One of the reasons they drafted him, because he is so quick, so effective on the artificial surface. And of course, the Vikings just moved inside this year. Second and 6.
Whoa!
Oh, and he hit by Michael Downs.
Look, he's got the ball.
Fake by Tommy Kramer, and Darren Nelson put a great fake on. And Tommy Kramer hit the ball beautifully. Throws for the Minnesota first down. Close to the 41-yard line. Everson Walls picked up Kramer finally. Look at this fake.
Michael Downs is the guy coming through, and wham, and he may make Darren pay for it. And Tommy Joe is going to hot-foot it around the outside. He outran Dutton.
Well, I'll tell you, I bought that fake.
I did too.
Totally.
And I'll tell you something else. This is why I love to watch a Bud Grant team.
Was that a penalty?
Well, they're saying he stepped out of bounds. I think the crowd thought that Kramer had picked up more yardage than he was credited with as they mark it at the 42-yard line of Dallas.
Bud will pull everything on you as you look at him. He seems implacable, but he's not any longer. After a defeat, you could never talk to him. But that was 5 years ago. Now, after a defeat, he really opens up.
42-yard line. Kramer in trouble with Ed Jones, and he has to hurry a toss downfield to McCullum, but Ed Jones was about to rain all over him. And that's a lot of rain. Too tall, 6'9", 272-pounder, and he was right in Kramer's face.
You see, he slipped the block to the inside. Nobody's there. Tommy did hurry it. They keep saying, you know, Ed never does play up. If he just would ever get all of his gears going at the same time, you know then how good he could be. But a guy that's that big and got that much talent oftentimes is going to receive that criticism. I think he does a pretty stable job over on the side.
Plays that strong side for the Cowboys, where they really must think run in Tom Landry's defense. They turn the Harvey Martins loose, and Harvey Martin, by the way, back in the game at right defensive end, number 79. Second down 10, Kramer up on top. Wide open is Steve Jordan, the rookie tight end from Brown, one of Howard's Ivy Leaguers.
A nice read that time. They sent a safety to blitz, and that's where they hit him. Steve Jordan was right there in the hole.
They just disregarded him, and there had to be a linebacker on him, and he didn't pick him up.
You'll see coming into the screen, I think.
You see the way Bud Grant has the diversified offense done, uses everybody. Now, this is a remarkable young man. Yes, he's an Ivy Leaguer out of Brown, Frank, because you're chuckling about it. But I'll tell you this, he is a brilliant kid, and he may go on for his master's degree in engineering to MIT. When you can do that, he's got that option, you're brilliant.
7th round draft pick. He gets the first down for the Vikings inside the 15-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Kramer tries to hit the slant, and it's incomplete to Sam McCullum.
That was catchable.
That was the one you think maybe a Sammy White working more with Tommy Kramer, or certainly an Ahmad Rashad, would probably have come down with the 6.
Well, it's just a very simple pattern, but the ball's right there in the hands, and you do see a lot of guys catch those. Thurman was pretty close behind him there, though.
Certainly had him concerned. Thurman was right on him. Sammy White has come into the game, and the crowd acknowledges Sammy White, the leading receiver coming into the night for the Vikings. Clutch receiver, Sammy White. Second down 10. Kramer, Harvey Martin is all over Kramer. And they're saying
forward motion.
The arm was in motion.
Right.
Incomplete pass. It'll be third down 10. And Harvey Martin, who went out in the middle of the second quarter, limping off the field, back in there, and once again a force for the Cowboys. Started to mention that over on Too Tall Jones' side, they play the run much stronger along with John Dutton, and they sort of turn Randy White and Harvey Martin loose on their pass rush. They, of course, play primarily on the weak side. Third down and 10. And we have a timeout on the field. The Minnesota Vikings, tied with the Dallas Cowboys at 10, have a third and 10 at the 13. Harold Jackson, recently acquired, worked out a little bit, signed yesterday. He's been around a lot of years in New England. Prior to going to San Diego this year, was the last cut of the Chargers. Before that, 5 years with the Rams. Before that, 4 years with the Eagles. All in all, 15 years. He is the leading active receiver in the NFL today. You saw the numbers, 571 career receptions.
If he gains another 20 yards, he passes Bambi, Lance Alden.
He's creeping up there. He's in third place right now. Of course, Don Maynard's the leader.
Third down and 10 for the Vikings. We're tied at 10, 11:45 remaining in the third quarter. Jackson is split to the right. 4 wide receivers are in now. Kramer gets the ball to Ted Brown, and Brown's in the end zone. Good heady move by Tommy Kramer. He was feeling the pressure from Ed Jones. Waited until Brown uncovered. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Anthony Dickerson missed that tackle and jumped up right off the field in a hurry. He knew it. Very disgusted with himself.
He can't get out of those movies, though.
Can't get out of those movies. He's going to be there again. I bet he misses him again. Not a lot of pressure this time. Some late pressure from Randy White. There's Dickerson. Slides off and into that end zone. You know, if I was old Tom sitting over there, I'd begin to start worrying about my team.
I would too.
They haven't looked too good in the last couple of weeks.
Played about 34 minutes of football. The offense has generated a field goal.
Dan Meyer. And for the first time tonight, the Vikings take the lead. At one point, they trailed 10-0. And then remember, fourth down run by Greg Coleman. That turned the Vikings around, and they have the lead. 17-10 over Dallas. With a little more than 11 and a half minutes remaining in the third quarter. We'll be back. Now sold out. They were looking for tickets throughout the entire week. Over 62,000 on hand. Ted Brown, what a great shuffle he put on Anthony Dickerson. Tommy Kramer, he waited with big Ed Jones bearing down on him to deliver the ball right on target. Stanmeyer to kick off. Newsom is deep along at Broad Hill. Timmy Newsom from the 9-yard line. Newsom over the 20, and the crowd now is applauding everything the Vikings do. A flag is down. Rufus Betts was down there for the Vikings. But again, a flag is down. We would suspect it'll be the illegal block once again. And the Cowboys will be backed up once again, and they are absolutely being dominated in terms of time of possession. And they sit down there with, speaking of Pro Bowls, the Cowboys have 7. The Vikings have 1. Matt Blair.
Number 62.
That's fun. That's a fun game. It's really fun for the players. They go over to Honolulu. They get to know each other. Some of them have never even met each other than on the football field. We're looking forward to Pro Bowl February the 6th. The 11-yard line. The Cowboys first and 10. They trail by 7. Dorsett. I've not heard much from Dorsett this evening. He gets 4. Second down at 6. Dennis Johnson defensively for the Vikes.
I haven't heard much from any of that offensive group since the first quarter. They're going to do it. They need to put one together right now. There's a little touch of maybe lethargic. They're becoming a little lethargic. That's a good word.
Well, they ran off 6 straight victories until the Eagles upset them last week. But you still get the feeling as you look at them that they're not playing to their potential. I think that's what we've commented on throughout the entire evening. Second and 6. White, Cosby struggles forward for the first down to the 22-yard line.
Frank, that's their first down since the 11-minute, 12-second mark of the first quarter. Now, when have you seen a Dallas offense that stifled or that sluggish?
The Vikings have turned their defense around somewhat this year. They took Doug Martin, the defensive right end, put him over on the left side. They were 28th against the rush out of 28 teams in the NFL a year ago with the Vikings. They brought that to 4th against the rush this year. First down and 10, 22-yard line. Dorsett. Crowd is really with the Vikings now. Dorsett held for a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Tony Dorsett seems to me you'd get the ball to him just a little more often. Maybe it's a flare pass, maybe the screen pass. They do like to screen to him. We have not seen that this evening. That, of course, probably part of the game plan.
You get a feeling they're saving their best plays until they come to Dallas next week. They may not come to Dallas next week. Tampa may be there.
Long way to go yet. Second down and 8. Osby in motion. Danny White looks into the slot. He finds Drew Pearson. Another first down. This time at the 38-yard line.
Danny settling down now.
Pearson ran a good little turn-in route there.
14-yard pickup by Drew Pearson. He's drawing ever closer to the yardage record, all-time yardage record of Bob Hayes. He has 41 yards tonight. He needed 61 coming in, so he needs 20 yards to replace Bobby Hayes as the all-time receiving yardage record holder. Bootleg by Danny White. Looks downfield, and that will be ruled complete by Tony Hill. Even though he went down out of bounds, he was hit by John Turner. He does not have to come down with both feet in bounds if he is hit by a defensive man and driven out.
That almost looked like one you make up in the schoolyard. Little fake to Dorsett going that way. Good fake by White holding the ball. Started to throw to Springs early, so Hill open up.
Boy, he had
this is
some
what
smoke
Frank
on it, too,
yeah, he did. He's up in the air, and he did come back.
Oh, he got them both down.
He had them both down anyway, didn't he? He does that so well. I really like Tony Hill.
Dallas, for the first time, pulling their offense together on a march at the 43-yard line of Minnesota. First and 10, Dorsett. And Dorsett screams down the sidelines, and he has another Dallas first down. And when they function on all 8, they really move that ball quickly.
It's his longest run of the night, isn't it? About a 12-yarder.
Dallas, despite all the hoopla, hullabaloo, and publicity that surrounds this team as the so-called America's team, has not made it to the Super Bowl the last 3 years.
I'll give you one. You talked about the long game. His longest run thus far this season is 19 yards. First down, 10. Danny White has the ball knocked out of his hands. A Cowboy covers, however. One of his big linemen dropping back there, Kurt Peterson.
Big Martin.
Doug Martin, he is the best pass rusher, perhaps the best defensive lineman, number 79 for the Vikes.
I couldn't see from this angle, so we looked from the other side, but there Martin comes in, just knocks the ball out of Danny's hand.
And Kurt Peterson was battling with Martin on the pass blocking, and Martin took him all the way back. Martin knocked it out of White's hands, but Kurt Peterson was there. Second down, call it 16, or rather 26. Billy Joe Dupree, and down goes Billy Joe Dupree. Crawling all over Dupree was Keith Nord. Another big play by the Vikings defense. Now Dallas has third extremely long yardage. Third down, 26.
Can't be happy about the thought of playing Tampa Bay with that great Buccaneer defense.
Well, Tampa Bay's not happy about going to Green Bay either. Second down, 14. Kramer fires to Sam McCullum, and McCullum comes down with the ball. With the experience, the wide receiver gets the first down at the 32-yard line.
He had to catch that one. It was there when he turned around. Zap! Got that one.
But they're sticking to their game plan. They're working on Dennis Thurman still, despite Dennis's fine first half.
You can see Sensor, the tight end, stay in the backfield to block. When McCullough turned around, the ball was there. Thurman had pretty good coverage on it. The ball was just thrown before he made his break.
McCullum, of course, quite a headline figure at the early going of the strike situation. Released as a player representative of Seattle, picked up by the Vikings, who, by the way, had him back in 1976, but he was a starter for Seattle. And he's in there now because of the injuries to Rashad and Sammy White. On first down, Darren Nelson. And down goes Nelson, but not until he works out over the 40-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. Everson Walls there defensively first for the Cowboys. Darren Nelson, 5'9", 180-pounder, but incredibly strong. Good track man. Had a 9.400.
He's had a little difficulty in settling in up here. He just said outright when the draft says, I don't want to go up there and play. And then he had trouble signing his contract. Maybe you get that all behind him and he'll get it settled out and say, this is not bad. They built a nice house for him to play in.
One of the reasons they drafted him because he is so quick, so effective on the artificial surface. And, of course, the Vikings just moved inside this year. 2nd and 6. Warren Nelson. Oh, and he hit by Michael Downs.
Look, he's got the ball.
Fake by Tommy Kramer, and Darren Nelson put a great fake on. And Tommy Kramer hit the ball beautifully. Goes for the Minnesota first down. Close to the 41-yard line. Everson Walls picked up Kramer finally. Look at this fake.
Michael Downs is the guy coming through, and wham, did he may make Darren pay for it. And Tommy Joe is going to hot-foot it around the outside. He outran Dutton.
Well, I'll tell you, I bought that fake.
I did too.
Totally.
And I'll tell you something else. This is why I love to watch a Bud Grant team.
Was that a penalty?
Well, they're saying he stepped out of bounds. I think the crowd thought that Kramer picked up more yardage than he was credited with as they mark it at the 42-yard line of Dallas.
Bud will pull everything on you as you look at him. He seems implacable, but he's not any longer. After a defeat, you could never talk to him, but that was 5 years ago. Now, after a defeat, he really opens up.
42-yard line. Kramer in trouble with Ed Jones, and he has to hurry a toss downfield to McCullum, but Ed Jones was about to rain all over him, and that's a lot of rain. Too tall, 6'9", 272-pounder, and he was right in Kramer's face.
You see, he slipped block to the inside. Nobody's there. Tommy did hurry it. They keep saying, you know, Ed never does play up. If he just would ever get all of his gears going at the same time, you know then how good he could be. But a guy that's that big and got that much talent, oftentimes is going to receive that criticism. I think he does a pretty stable job over on the side.
Plays that strong side for the Cowboys, where they really must think run in Tom Landry's defense. They turn the Harvey Martins loose, and Harvey Martin, by the way, back in the game at right defensive end, number 79. 2nd down 10. Kramer up on top. Wide open is Steve Jordan, the rookie tight end from Brown, one of Howard's Ivy Leaguers.
A nice read that time. They sent a safety to blitz, and that's where they hit him. Steve Jordan was right there in the hole.
They just disregarded him, and there had to be a linebacker on him, and he didn't pick him up.
You'll see coming into the screen, I think.
You see the way Bud Grant has the diversified offense done, uses everybody. Now, this is a remarkable young man. Yes, he's an Ivy Leaguer out of Brown, Frank, because you're chuckling about it. But I'll tell you this, he is a brilliant kid, and he may go on for his master's degree in engineering to MIT. When you can do that, he's got that option, you're brilliant.
7th round draft pick. He gets the first down for the Vikings inside the 15-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Kramer tries to hit the slant, and it's incomplete to Sam McCullum.
That was catchable.
That was the one you think maybe a Sammy White working more with Tommy Kramer, or certainly an Ahmad Rashad, would probably have come down with the 6.
Well, it's just a very simple pattern, but the ball's right there in the hands, and you do see a lot of guys catch those. Thurman was pretty close behind him there, though.
Certainly had him concerned. Thurman was right on him. Sammy White has come into the game, and the crowd acknowledges Sammy White, the leading receiver coming into the night for the Vikings. Clutch receiver, Sammy White. 2nd down 10. Kramer, Harvey Martin is all over Kramer. And they're saying
forward motion.
The arm was in motion.
Right.
Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down 10. And that Harvey Martin, who went out in the middle of the 2nd quarter, limping off the field, back in there, and once again a force for the Cowboys. Started to mention that over on Too Tall Jones' side, they play the run much stronger along with John Dutton, and they sort of turn Randy White and Harvey Martin loose on their pass rush. They, of course, play primarily on the weak side. 3rd down and 10. And we have a timeout on the field. The Minnesota Vikings tied with the Dallas Cowboys at 10. Have a 3rd and 10 at the 13. Jackson, recently acquired, worked out a little bit, signed yesterday. He's been around a lot of years in New England. Prior to going to San Diego this year, was the last cut of the Chargers. Before that, 5 years with the Rams. Before that, 4 years with the Eagles. All in all, 15 years. He is the leading active receiver in the NFL today. You saw the numbers, 571 career receptions.
If he gains another 20 yards, he passes Bambi, Lance Alwyn.
Creeping up there. He's in 3rd place right now. Of course, Don Maynard's the leader.
3rd down and 10 for the Vikings. We're tied at 10, 11:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Jackson is split to the right. 4 wide receivers are in now. Kramer gets the ball to Ted Brown, and Brown's in the end zone. Good heady move by Tommy Kramer. He was feeling the pressure from Ed Jones. Waited until Brown uncovered. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Anthony Dickerson missed that tackle and jumped up right off the field in a hurry. He knew it. Very disgusted with himself.
He can't get out of those movies, though.
Can't get out of those movies. He's going to be there again. I bet he misses him again. Not a lot of pressure this time. Some late pressure from Randy White. There's Dickerson. Slides off and into that end zone. You know, if I was old Tom sitting over there, I'd begin to start worrying about my team.
I would too.
They haven't looked too good in the last couple of weeks.
Played about 34 minutes of football. The offense has generated a field goal.
Dan Meyer. And for the first time tonight, the Vikings take the lead. At one point, they trailed 10-0. And then remember, 4th down run by Greg Coleman. That turned the Vikings around, and they have the lead. 17-10 over Dallas. With a little more than 11 and a half minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back. Now sold out. They were looking for tickets throughout the entire week. Over 62,000 on hand. Ted Brown, what a great shuffle he put on Anthony Dickerson. Tommy Kramer, he waited with big Ed Jones bearing down on him to deliver the ball right on target. Canmar to kick off. Newsom is deep along with Rod Hill. Timmy Newsom from the 9-yard line. Newsom over the 20, and the crowd now is applauding everything the Vikings do. A flag is down. Rufus Betts was down there for the Vikings. But again, a flag is down. We would suspect it'll be the illegal block once again. And the Cowboys will be backed up once again, and they are absolutely being dominated in terms of time of possession. And they sit down there with, speaking of Pro Bowls, the Cowboys have 7. The Vikings have 1. Matt Blair.
Number 62.
That's fun. That's a fun game. It's really fun for the players. They go over to Honolulu. They get to know each other. Some of them have never even met each other than on the football field. We're looking forward to Pro Bowl February the 6th. The 11-yard line. The Cowboys 1st and 10. They trail by 7. Dorsett. I've not heard much from Dorsett this evening. He gets 4. 2nd down and 6. Dennis Johnson defensively for the Vikes.
I haven't heard much from any of that offensive group since the 1st quarter. If they're going to do it, they need to put one together right now. There's a little touch of maybe lethargic. They're becoming a little lethargic. That's a good word.
Well, they ran off 6 straight victories until the Eagles upset them last week. But you still get the feeling as you look at them that they are not playing to their potential. I think that's what we've commented on throughout the entire evening. 2nd and 6. White, Cosby struggles forward for the 1st down to the 22-yard line.
Frank, that's their first down since the 11-minute, 12-second mark of the 1st quarter. Now, when have you seen a Dallas offense that stifled or that sluggish?
The Vikings have turned their defense around somewhat this year. They took Doug Martin, the defensive right end, put him over on the left side. They were 28th against the rush out of 28 teams in the NFL a year ago with the Vikings. They brought that to 4th against the rush this year. First down and 10, 22-yard line. Dorsett. Crowd is really with the Vikings now. Dorsett held for a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Tony Dorsett seems to me you'd get the ball to him just a little more often. Maybe it's a flare pass, maybe the screen pass. They do like to screen to him. We have not seen that this evening. That, of course, probably part of the game plan.
You get a feeling they're saving their best plays until they come to Dallas next week. They may not come to Dallas next week. Tampa may be there.
Long way to go yet. Second down and 8. Osby in motion. Danny White looks into the slot. He finds Drew Pearson. Another first down, this time at the 38-yard line.
Danny settling down now.
Pearson ran a good little turn-in route there.
14-yard pickup by Drew Pearson. He's drawing ever closer to the yardage record, all-time yardage record of Bob Hayes. He has 41 yards tonight. He needed 61 coming in, so he needs 20 yards to replace Bobby Hayes as the all-time receiving yardage record holder. Bootleg by Danny White. Looks downfield, and that will be ruled complete by Tony Hill. Even though he went down out of bounds, he was hit by John Turner. He does not have to come down with both feet in bounds if he is hit by a defensive man and driven out.
That almost looked like one you make up in the schoolyard. Little fake to Dorsett going that way. Good fake by White holding the ball. Started to throw to Springs early, so Hill open up.
Well, he had
this is
some
what
smoke
Frank
on it,
started.
too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's up in the air, and he did come back fast.
Oh, he got them both down.
He had them both down anyway, didn't he? He does that so well. I really like Tony Hill.
Dallas, for the first time, pulling their offense together on a march at the 43-yard line of Minnesota. First and 10, Dorsett. And Dorsett screams down the sidelines, and he has another Dallas first down. And when they function on all 8, they really move that ball quickly.
It's his longest run of the night, isn't it? About a 12-yarder.
Dallas, despite all the hoopla, hullabaloo, and publicity that surrounds this team as the so-called America's team, has not made it to the Super Bowl the last 3 years.
I'll give you one. You talked about the long game. His longest run thus far this season is 19 yards. First down, 10. Danny White has the ball knocked out of his hands. A Cowboy covers, however. One of his big linemen dropping back there, Kurt Peterson.
Big Martin.
Doug Martin, he is the best pass rusher, perhaps the best defensive lineman, number 79 for the Vikes.
I couldn't see from this angle, so we look from the other side, but there Martin comes in. Just knocks the ball out of Danny's hand.
And Kurt Peterson was battling with Martin on the pass blocking, and Martin took him all the way back. Martin knocked it out of White's hands, but Kurt Peterson was there. Second down, call it 16, or rather 26. Billy Joe Dupree, and down goes Billy Joe Dupree. Crawling all over Dupree was Keith Nord. Another big play by the Vikings defense. Now Dallas has third, extremely long yardage. Third down, 26.
Well, they were down to the 30, first down and driving. If they come up empty out of this series, it's going to take a while to recover.
Minnesota on top, 17-10, 8:08 remaining in the third quarter. Danny White. A wobbly pass as Danny White had to step away from charging Mark Mullaney. Incomplete, fourth down, out of field goal range of the Cowboys, and Danny White will stay on the punt. Cowboys had a first and 10 at the 30-yard line. Now it's fourth down at the 46-yard line. Rufus Bess has replaced Eddie Payton as the primary punt return and kickoff return man for the Vikings. And here's Danny White, looking a little above his season average. Looking for the corner, and he's going to be very close to catching it.
Good kick.
Good kick, Danny White.
Great kick.
Marked inside the 10-yard line. Danny White puts it out of bounds at the 9-yard line on a 37-yard pickup.
Here's Vic.
Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, 7:56 remaining in the third quarter. Final game of the NFL's regular season. The Minnesota Vikings, the Dallas Cowboys. Vikings playing inspired football tonight. Two top receivers out of the lineup. Ahmad Rashad. Sammy White has been in just briefly. They lead the Cowboys 17-10. First down and 10. 9-yard line of the Vikes. Kramer puts Sensor in motion. Ted Brown, or rather Darren Nelson, got a block from Ricky Young.
Got a pretty good block from Ricky Young that time on Benny Barnes. Strong safety, and caught Benny, pushed him inside a little bit. He's basically the wait a minute, what is this? Broke all of
I'm not going to say.
for one.
Don't be bitter.
Gain of 4 by
broke
Nelson.
all of my,
It'll be second down and 6.
except for one. Huh. Let's see. Oh, interceptions. You turkeys. You're a bunch of turkeys down there.
Ball at the 13-yard line. Nelson got 4. Second down and 6. This is Ted Brown. Runs into John Dutton. Surges forward, short of the first down, out over the 15 to the 16, where it'll be third down and 3.
Well, as the old cliche goes, this is a big play.
Let's have some of those. We haven't had very many of those tonight. That's good one. That's a big play. Let's talk about momentum coming in here, too.
Ted Brown, now over 3,000 yards rushing as a Viking in this his 4th season, the short 9-game season that it is. Third down, 3. Sensor. And almost picked off by Benny Barnes on the deflection. It'll be 4th down, and the Cowboys should have fairly good field position unless Greg Coleman turns into a runner once again.
Sensor, a great basketball player, would 99 times out of 100 have that football.
That time, it really did almost wind up in Benny Barnes' hand.
On the road, out in the bad weather, 38-1 at home here in the Metrodome, where home run balls seem to carry as well as punts. He does much better. Here's Rod Hill, the #1 draft pick out of Kentucky State, with the great potentials in the NCAA Division II. Holman, fine punt. Rod Hill drops the ball. Scramble, and the Cowboys cover. So the Cowboys will have a first down close to their 40-yard line as Coleman limps off the field. I didn't see what happened to Coleman.
I don't think he got hit, but he went up and he fell anyway. Let's take a look and see.
Method acting almost got him here.
No, he came down on his foot. Look a little crooked.
46-yard punt. A couple of yards on the return, but the Cowboys in good field position. 6:55 remaining in the third quarter. The Dallas Cowboys have a first down and 10, their own 40-yard line. They trail the Minnesota Vikings 17-10. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Danny White looks over the 3-4 defense of the Vikings that they show on first down. Springs. And he was looking very tentatively for a hole, and big Charlie Johnson corralled him for a loss of a yard. Charlie Johnson, who, according to reports, did not like the intensity, the pressure at the Eagles, wanted out. Minnesota Vikings, who are a little much more low-key, gave a high draft pick for the 3-time Pro Bowler. He comes out on passing situations. And we'll have Randy Holloway, Doug Martin, James White, and Mark Mullaney, the front 4 as the Vikings drop into their 4-man front. Blitz is on, and Danny White forced to throw it a little prematurely, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
They're smooth.
You have to credit this Viking defense. They have really been opportunistic tonight. They are changing almost every play, and they are changing up, guessing with Landry. And, of course, Bud Grant, now in his 16th year, Landry in his 23rd. They know each other like a book. Think of the hundreds of hours of films that they've watched of each other's teams.
Danny White under 50% at the moment. First time this year. Completion percentage.
He'll get it up.
3rd down and 11 from the shotgun.
Yeah.
And this one draws a flag. Timmy Newsom, intended receiver. Trapped downfield. Tommy Hannon with the football, but a flag is down. And it works against the Vikings. It'll be 1st down Dallas. Let's look again. Timmy Newsom, the intended receiver.
Well, he was coming across. That's got to be some interference there, hasn't it?
Keith Nord had his hand on the back of Timmy Newsom. Gets the call. It'll be 1st down 10. Dallas near the 48-yard line of the Vikings.
That's what Dallas needed.
Drew Pearson split to the right. Tony Hill out to the left. Dorsett spinning, looking for daylight, finds very little.
Oh boy.
Squeezes out just about 4 yards.
These guys are playing inspired football, no question about it. That's a swarming defense, Don.
I think you see one of them they really, I'm not saying Dallas doesn't want to win, but I think that you've got the Vikings in there that, man, they know they've got to play their top game, and they're doing it. You see them trot out on the field, run out on the field. You see the other group just kind of mosey on out there and line up. I don't think the star on the helmet's going to do it. They got to do something else.
2nd down, 6. The ball inside the 45-yard line. White, Cosby, the tight end. Cosby will have the 1st down. He's inside the 35-yard line.
What a real asset Cosby has been. He came in. They've had the 3 tight ends for a while. Jay Saldy, of course, and Billy Joe Dupree. But Cosby has come in. He's got all the things they like. He's got good speed. And Frank mentioned it earlier. He can really catch the ball. He's got terrific hands. And a young guy. Look at that, 26 years old.
With the rules changes that Frank mentioned so much, the change in offense, the use of 3 wide receivers, you may see the tight end become extinct in favor of an extra tackle.
1st down and 10.
Here they come. Here they come. Good defense.
Good defensive play, and another flag goes down as John Swain may have come up over the top too quickly on Drew Pearson.
Well, I got to see this one.
He may have bumped him, but it was a good effort on Swain's part. Had him man for man back there.
Yeah.
They blitzed 4 or 5. Blitzed there by the head.
He had great position.
Oh, that left hand. He had him in the back.
Maybe that's why he had great position.
Yeah.
Crowd will boo.
Pass interference, number 29. 1st down.
Crowd will boo, but no question, a good call. 24-yard line, 1st down Dallas. A pair of infractions, interference calls against the Vikings. 2 consecutive 1st downs for the Cowboys. Tony Hill and Pearson both split up to the top of your screen. That's Hill in the slot. Going for Hill, and we're going to get another interference call again, this time against John Turner, I believe. That's 3 consecutive 1st downs for Dallas on the interference.
You get back there by yourself and get a little nervous. I think this one was a pretty flagrant call.
I don't know.
Wasn't too flagrant, was it?
Reverse angle, it doesn't reveal much more, but the official, as you can see from the proximity to the players where the flag was thrown, the official right on top of it. First down, goal to go, 6-yard line. Cowboys trailing 17-10. We have 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Dorsett, and he's taken behind by Doug Martin, who's playing himself a game tonight. Loss of a yard.
He really is. He was another guy the Vikes had trouble signing, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you see this many flags, that's not good for the game.
Well, but we didn't see hardly any of the first half. You see, you got to balance those things out. That's not true either. They just had
some point there.
So it'll be second down, goal to go. At the 7-yard line, there was a loss of 1. Let's cover this from behind the Cowboys. Hill is to the left. Drew Pearson is split to the right. Those are the wide receivers. Dorsett, and this time he runs into Doug Martin again.
Oh, yeah. Boy, was he in there. Look at those men. I tell you, they're an inspired team.
That will bring up third down. This time Doug Martin had moved over on the pass rush, anticipating pass to the right side, which he does. On run situation, Doug Martin will be at left end. The Vikings think pass, he goes to the right side. Third down, goal to go, and the loss this time back to the 10-yard line. The original line of scrimmage, the 6-yard line. 2 big plays. Doug Martin. 3 wide receivers. Brooks Johnson in the slot to Danny White's right as he covered from behind the Cowboys. White. Danny White, good athlete, gets inside the 5. Or it'll be fourth down. Tommy Hannon was there, and there was no question in the mind of Tom Landry, sending the field goal unit right onto the field.
That's bowling them over. Tony Hill wasn't too open, was it?
Danny White was busy at this point.
That's right, he was.
Sure was.
Very busy.
He was running the football for his life.
Septien. Incredible percentage from inside the 40. Came into tonight 26 of 28. This will be an attempt at 28 yards. Excuse me, 23 yards. The easy chip shot. And the Cowboys have shortened it up. They trail by 4 with 2:26 remaining in the third quarter. The implacable one, Bud Grant. We'll be back. The Cowboys have drawn to within 4. Vikings send Jarvis Redwine and Darren Nelson deep to accept the kick of Septien. Darren Nelson wanted it. He took it away from Redwine. And he coughs it up. There's a scramble, and I think Dallas may have it. Dallas has the football back at the 15-yard line. Darren Nelson got smacked, gave it up.
Oh, me.
Well, everything's going Dallas's way, and in truth, they don't deserve it. Watch again.
The 2 number 1 draft picks involved in this. It was Darren Nelson getting whacked there. 3 Cowboys. I think the big hit was put on there by number 57, Angelo King.
I thought it was Danny Spradlin, that great big old middle linebacker. He's going to be a good one down there. Let him run. Let him run.
Somewhere along the way.
That's Spradlin, number 55. Angelo's in there, too.
Somewhere along the way, the Vikings defense will have to give. The last Dallas drive wasn't fulfilling because it was a drive engineered on 3 pass interference calls, and they still came up without a touchdown.
First and 10. The ball just outside the 15-yard line. Changing off is Danny White. And Dorsett bobbles it. There's a scramble. It's still loose. The Vikings have it. Dennis Johnson.
I'm telling you.
Now they have field position.
You'd think that
They say this crowd is passive.
Oh. Look at the crowd and look over at the Minnesota sideline right there. Those players hugging one another. All over number 52.
That was a
Dennis
change-up by
Johnson.
Danny White. And I don't think Tony Dorsett was ever confident that he was even going to run the right play.
Well, they had Doug Martin was in and around there. He kind of semi-calls that fumble.
The chase is on. First down, 10, the Vikings at their own 35-yard line. Kramer wants to quiet the crowd. Now Tommy wants to change it up. Ted Brown gets outside and taken out of bounds by Dennis Thurman. After a gain of 3, it'll be second down and 7. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Minnesota 17, the Cowboys 13.
That's an interesting stat right there.
Yep.
At least one fumble in each of the last 5 games.
CD has had that problem throughout his career. We've talked about it enough in the past. It's a lingering problem for him.
Ted Brown works it out to the 38-yard line. Second and 7. Brown again. Runs into Bob Bruni just at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and about 7. Bob Bruni, another Pro Bowling Dallas Cowboy. Finding you once again a win by the Vikings tonight. They can stay home next Sunday and entertain the Atlanta Falcons. In which case, the Dallas Cowboys would have Tampa Bay at Dallas, and Tampa Bay gave them all they wanted during the regular season. Third and 7. Movement, but no flag. Kramer has to hurry it, and he unloads to Ted Brown. He struggled for the first down and comes up short.
Decision time again.
Good coverage by Walls that time. Stayed right with him, and a good move by Tommy Joe.
Let's see how Bud
somebody out
plays
there.
this.
He's got a pretty long yard. I think he'll put the punter in, Greg Coleman. He's got a 4-point lead.
Yeah, but Greg ran with it once before. Led to Minnesota's first field goal.
Rod Hill now settles in at the 10-yard line, gaining a little respect for Greg Coleman, who has really banged the ball well tonight. Off the side of his foot. And it goes out of bounds inside the 22-yard line. That time, not much of a kick. 34 yards. First and 10, the Dallas Cowboys. Want to tell you again about our great lineup throughout the winter months coming up here on ABC. Of course, Howard Cosell's Sports Beat, show that has really led the way in sports journalism. Professional Bowlers Tour, our 22nd consecutive year. ABC's Wide World of Sports, all on Saturday, of course. Then on Sunday, the Superstars will have 3 special presentations there. The USA versus the World in amateur boxing. ABC's Wide World of Sports once again on Sunday, continuing its tradition of excellence. And beginning March the 6th, the premiere of the United States Football League. And ABC Sports, being number 1, is considered just the beginning. 21-yard line, the Dallas Cowboys. They trail by 4. 15 seconds remain in the third quarter. Danny White, the quick out to Pearson. And he'll get about 5 out around the 27-yard line.
You know, Butch Johnson, Don, has been noticeably absent, yet he's the guy who was loose twice in the end zone and overthrown each time in the early going.
Which has a...
Maybe they're saving that for the playoff.
Well, you know, this sounds silly, but it really, they've been in the playoffs for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, and I think there is a complacency there, and they're not using a lot of variety in their offense tonight, so maybe they are doing some of that stuff. You know, it all comes down. You got to put 4 weeks together.
They've marked it out over the 27, so it's second down and 4. Tony Dorsett, single setback, gets the call up the middle, loses his footing, comes up short of the first down, where it'll be third down and a long 2. Doug Martin tripping up.
I don't think
Tony
Butch is happy with the state of affairs, Frank. The quarter ends.
Hard to crack into the lineup with Tony Hill, Drew Pearson, the all-time leading receiver. That's the end of the third quarter. We'll be back with fourth quarter action after this word from our local stations. Oh, you all figured that one out. Cowboys are 2 for 12 on 3rd and 3 or less in their last 4 games. But right now, they are faced with a 3rd down and 2 with the ball inside the 30-yard line. Changes in the offensive line for the Cowboys. Herbert Scott, who had missed much of the season with a sore knee, played a little bit last week for an injured Howard Richards, a left guard. He's in there. Steve Wright is at right guard, number 73. Changes in the Cowboys' offensive line. And there it is. That's it. It's gone. That's it. John Turner got the deflection. Mark Mullaney, 6'6", put the big hand up, deflected it, and Turner one-handed it into the end zone.
Look at them go out there. That's a team that wants to win. We've insistently pointed out we didn't think Dallas was playing exactly inspired football. That's an understatement.
30-yard touchdown.
This team is playing some game.
That is true. The whole bench emptied to go out there. I'd really like to see that. That's the game part, the fun part that I really do like. And Dallas turned around and walked off the field. Oh, that's terrific.
It's Turner's first touchdown in the NFL.
There's Mullaney, the deflection. And there's Turner.
And this team lost last week by 28 points.
And the other team lost by 4.
Stanmeyer for the conversion. The Vikings stretch out their lead in the early going of the fourth quarter. Well, the Cowboys have almost the entire fourth quarter to get some sort of offensive act together. They have been sluggish. They have been held in total check by a defense that is constantly changing on the part of the Vikings. We'll be back with more action. 24-13, Minnesota. John Turner, interception, 30-yard return. An assist for Mullaney. And the Cowboys getting in deep water. Stanmeyer kicks off. Newsom is deep along with Rod Hill. It'll be Newsom who bobbles the ball. He'll have to do something with it. And the Cowboys are at their half-yard line.
It's been a long time since any of you have seen a Cowboy team play this badly. In fairness to Minnesota, they're playing inspired football. Brilliant coaching job by Bud Grant. I don't think I've ever seen a team better prepared for a given game. And that man has prepared his team for the night.
That man is doing it without his 2 prime receivers.
That's right, and without his best defensive player, Scott Studwell.
That's right.
So give them their fair share of the credit. Terrific performance. But Dallas, you're right, Dandy. This team seems to think it can turn it on whenever it wants. You can't do that in this league anymore, and this is no way to go into the playoffs.
Won't change anything except I feel you ought to go in the playoff with the best attitude, the most positive attitude you can, and they can't really feel too good about the way they played the last couple of weeks.
The ball just over the goal line of the Cowboys. Dorsett, single setback. Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
Sure, because they
99 yards.
Short yardage defense, all bunched up. And that's the 99.5-yard run, I think, is the longest run in the history of the league.
It is.
So now they're alive, put to the biggest test of all, and suddenly the whole momentum changes. But they were bunched up for the short yardage defense, and Gifford called it.
Let's start bragging on them all of a sudden. Y'all want to? Who is that poor lady? She must have been a Minnesota fan.
Off mic, Frank said he'll bust it all the way. If you believe that, you'll believe anything.
All right.
Great.
Herb Scott. Herb Scott, the guard has been out for a few days. Good block, middle linebacker.
And the move down here, Don, to stay in bounds was a great piece of athletic skill.
I didn't think he would make it. Is that Willie Teal there, I believe, isn't it? And all of a sudden, he just kept his balance and right in there. That's wild.
Longest run previously, 97 yards.
By Andy Urim of the Green Bay Packers back in 1939. Bob Gage did it for Pittsburgh against the Bears in 1949. Tony Dorsett has just taken it the length of the field.
He just went over 100 yards, didn't he?
Yeah. 408, well within reach. Just at the end, puts it through. He's fun to watch. One of the great athletes ever to play this game. Tony Dorsett goes 99 yards. Credit to the offensive line. They opened a beautiful hole. Rafferty and Scott. When he went up in the air, tried to draw the roughing the punter penalty, hurt his leg, and Greg Coleman is still limping. We have a timeout at 12:36 remaining. The Big Bubble here in Minneapolis cost $55 million. They opened it last April. They started construction in '79. Put it back together this past week when 17 inches of snow fell on this city and ripped a big hole as they were trying to clear the stadium. Danny White, the singing Cowboy quarterback, brings up the Cowboys at the 40-yard line, first down and 10. Dorsett.
See if he can do it again. No.
And Dorsett gets the first down with a 15-yard pickup to the 45-yard line. John Turner took him out of bounds, and Tony now looks like he might have got the wind knocked out of him on the sidelines, trying to get the breath back in. Needs 40 yards to become the NFL season rushing leader.
Those kind of delayed counter moves, comes back to the outside. Really just kind of, whoops, tripped right in there, did it on his own. John Turner.
Strong hit there.
That was the hit, I think, rather than the ground. He got him right in the ribs, looked like.
And they're still looking after Tony Dorsett on the sidelines. Play continues with first and 10 at the 45-yard line. And there's Tony. We'll get a report as quickly as we can. Sometimes you land on that football and it knocks the wind out of you. It can also cause cartilage damage at the ribs. Screen is deflected and almost picked off by Doug Martin, who's everywhere tonight.
He has been playing a simply tremendous game. Underpublicized. Playing maybe the game of his life tonight.
Tony Dorsett needs 40 yards to pass Freeman McNeil of the Jets to become the NFL's leading rusher for the season as we look again.
Going to set up a screen, you've got to set up first. He had pretty good protection that time. Good move by White just to knock Martin away. I thought he might have made it.
I'd like to have seen Martin intercept that and see what Danny would have done with him. Second down and 10. Newsom, and Timmy Newsom just hurdles over the 45-yard line to about the 41. That'll be third down and 6, and as you can see, Dorsett is up. Collect his breath on the bench for a few moments. I would suspect we might see him come back in and give it a try for the rushing crown. Third down, long 6. Puts Johnson in. He's the slot, top of your screen. They like to go to him. Fight. Tony Hill. He's short of the first down. Swarming Viking defense. John Swain first.
I think that was Martin again who really laid one into Danny. Danny had to hurry his pass, throw to the quick look. Let's see if we pick it up again. Martin, number 79, comes back around, and whammo, got him. And here's the reception by Tony. I think Tony was aware that he was short of that first down, trying to make some kind of moves. Good solid tackle there that time by John Swain.
And on fourth down, offensive unit stays on for the Cowboys. Fourth down and 2. Seconds ticking away inside 11 minutes. Just a little out of Septien's range. They wouldn't pick up much by a punt unless they could get it out of bounds in close.
A daring move.
All right. And that deflection by number 75, Randy Holloway, who comes in on the pass rush, got a big paw up there, and Danny White has had numerous deflections tonight.
5. These pictures need no words.
He got under center. Good move on the outside to Cooper. Got up, and that's a good move by that young man.
And Minnesota leading 24-20, 10:45 remaining in the game. First and 10, their own 37. Minnesota has the football back. They have the lead over the Cowboys, 24-20. A Minnesota victory tonight. And they get to stay home for the beginning of the playoffs next weekend. They'll entertain Atlanta on Sunday. Should they win tonight, Dallas will be at home to Tampa Bay. Ted Brown, single setback on first down and 10 at the 37-yard line. And Ed Jones collects Ted Brown. Little adjustment, and I'll tell you, whatever they've been doing, it's been right on the part of that defensive unit headed by Big Doug Martin.
They're doing everything, and they're doing it without Scott Studwell, who is, by team consensus, the leading defensive player on the club. Doug Martin has had an extraordinary evening. There have been blocked passes, deflected passes. It's been an inspired team.
Second down and 10. Ricky Young, 34, in there with Ted Brown. Ricky Young, good receiver, along with Ted Brown. Screen to Brown, and Randy White rumbles in from the offside to take Ted Brown down after a gain of 3.
That was a superb play by White.
Unusual screen to see one when it dropped that deep and throw it to the same side where you drop. A lot of times you see him try to screen back over to the weak side, threw right into where the pursuit was.
Third down and 7.
You know, you watch that offensive defensive line, it really is hard to tell what's holding anymore. I can't tell what they're doing, except I know that, in particular, Randy White, they got their hands all over him on every play.
That's where they get confused on the kicks. They block the same way on punts and kickoff returns, and that's why we have all those penalties. We've got a third down and 7.
Look out.
Kramer, good sidearms it to Sam McCullum. The ball ripped loose, and they're saying incomplete.
Was that, who hit Tommy back there? Was that Harvey? Man, somebody laid it to him. I'll tell you, Harvey's kind of semi-limping off, but he put one on Tommy Joe before he left.
Here's Greg Coleman. He was limping earlier. He started limping after he faked to fall, trying to draw the penalty on an earlier punt. He had been kicking the ball about 43 yards on average. Prior to that, his last 2 punts have been 34 yards. And here's Rod Hill, showing a lot of style as a return man tonight, is Rod Hill. The number 1 draft pick for the Cowboys from Kentucky State. This time, Coleman really hammers one. Rod Hill at the 10. That's a football player. To the 36-yard line. Individual effort. Rod Hill. He was in the arms of a tackler at the 23-yard line. This is just fine running.
Left a good tackle right there. That is. Guy trying to find you.
Here's the one he gets out of that I didn't understand. I mean, it seemed he was caught.
And a Cowboy is down on the field. And I believe it's Rod Hill.
It's a brilliant run back.
Massaging the right hand. Seems to be all right. And he gets an appreciative round of applause from a very partisan Viking crowd, of course. I mentioned those numbers, Don and Howard. A year ago, he averaged, returning 18 punts for Kentucky State, just under 32 yards a return.
Now, you said that earlier. You serious?
Frightening, isn't it?
Well, you mean 30-something. You did your facts. You got your facts. 30-something yards on a punt return.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That was the NCAA Division II at Kentucky State. Springs and Newsom. the setbacks for the Cowboys. Dorsett remains on the bench, and this is Ron Springs. Springs out over the 40-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
I tell you, this game has had an extraordinary ebb and flow. Moments of brilliance, moments of lassitude.
But all in all, even as the score is only separated by 4, 24-20, Minnesota over Dallas, Cowboys have not moved the football well. They did have their 99-yard touchdown run by Tony Dorsett.
And a pass interception for the other touchdown and 2 field goals. I've been paying attention all night.
2nd and 6. Run it. Danny White, wide open field. He'll get a lot of yards. Danny White, not only a fine quarterback, but a good athlete. Very heady athlete.
And I really have to admit something tonight. Of all the quarterbacks that Dallas has had, he's the best singer.
Got his own tape and album out.
Got his tape out, and that really hurts. That really hurts to do that. Didn't have anybody open. That's just what happens. You see him did scramble. Of course, if he was a little tougher, he'd make a cut right in here and cut back across the middle and meet that man head on.
That's how you get those zippers.
Yeah, I mean, you got to let them know who's tough out there. Run to that sideline.
We'll show them your body.
Yeah. Punish them.
Looks like a shark got a hold of you. On 1st and 10. Pearson is there, and a good defensive play.
Beautiful.
John Swain.
That was good, and that was very close to what he was called for pass interference in the 3rd quarter, coming over the back.
He's been working on it.
Yeah, to improve, practice.
Keeps doing it till he gets it right.
Well, let's just see, because the ball was one of those that he kind of air-mailed it which way you're going. You see Drew kind of coming in. It's close.
It looked like a replay of the one he was called for earlier.
Well, he kept his left arm off of him, though.
The way they're calling them these days.
Oh, boy.
You don't want to breathe on him too heavily.
Right.
39-yard line, 2nd down and 10. 7:51 remaining in the game. Minnesota on top, 24-20. Cosby on the motion. Danny White, and Vikings were all over Danny White.
You know, that's really where it's been, I think, tonight. That defensive line, and Dallas has got a good offensive line. But they really haven't given him much protection tonight.
They've got a
that was Mulaney
couple
again.
of changes in there. Steve Wright is over at right guard. Herb Scott coming back from injury at left guard.
Frank, he's not going to make over 50% tonight. 12 out of 29.
Well, you never can tell. But look at Mulaney coming through. Nobody touched him.
The 4th pass that's been blocked or deflected on Danny White. 3rd down and 10. Cowboys end up playing from the bench, of course. They bring in Butch Johnson. He's in the slot up at the top of your screen. Drew Pearson on the outside.
That's
Movement, and I believe it was on the part of the Cowboys.
I think old Coop got a little bit anxious.
Yep. Without question. Penalties.
Start 61 offense.
Jim Cooper, the right tackle, blowing the count, setting up prematurely. 5-yard penalty. Tony looks like he's ready to get back into it. He'd like to get that 40 yards, I know.
I bet he doesn't know he needs 40.
I'll bet he doesn't either. The last thing in the world he's thinking about.
He's carried the ball 15 times for 155 yards. In case you missed it, he went 99 yards for a touchdown. Earlier to break a long-standing NFL record. Tony Dorsett. 3rd down, 15. White. Got a little bit of time, and Cosby is down there. And Cosby catches the football. Amidst 3 Vikings, Cosby comes down with the ball.
You believe that?
Oh, me.
They had him covered like a tent, and they blew it. This is what I mean by ebb and flow.
Cosby almost didn't even make it on the field. He was the last one to get out there, and Newsom goes out, so he goes deep.
How about this time?
Oh, well, this is wild. I'll just throw this thing down here. Let's see. Well, got a little wobble.
Turner was there, Hannon was there, Swain was there, and Cosby catches the football.
That's amazing.
First down, goal to go inside the 3-yard line.
Amazing. Well, the Vikings stopped them down here once before. They had to settle for a field goal, so they haven't scored. They haven't gone ahead yet.
But fatigue is overtaking this defensive unit.
Inside 7 minutes.
Martin went back very slowly.
Who did?
Doug Martin.
Oh.
On Springs. Touchdown. Big opening on the left side. Donovan and Herb Scott.
The way to get in it, Tom. The way to go, boy. Fire him up over there.
Let's look at it again. He was 3 Vikings, right? And they all come down when he went up.
Said, what is he, 6'6" or
6'6".
5? Yeah, that helps that time, doesn't it?
You got to time your jumps out a little better than that.
Yeah. One Viking there mistimed his jump terribly. And that's what did it.
And we have a new leader, the Cowboys. Stepped in, trying to open up a 3-point lead. Serrano gets it down, and we're going to have a penalty assessed on the kickoff as one of the Vikings a little over-eager. Keith Nord.
Number 49 on the defense, roughing the kicker, will be assessed on the kickoff.
Keith Nord running into Septien, and there's Cosby, and he has really come into his own. They got him on the 3rd round in '79, and finally this year he has replaced Billy Joe Dupree as the starting tight end, even though Dupree does see a lot of action. Cosby is the primary tight end as a receiver.
Ron Springs is going to score a straight little handoff in here. Lead in on the outside. Didn't quite get there in time to stop it. Pretty good hole. Springs is a guy that they're all real pleased with because kind of found him hidden away up there in Ohio State.
We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
Eyewitness News follows the game on WABC TV New York.
6:42 remains in the football game. If you have just joined us, the Minnesota Vikings have played inspired football tonight. They came back from a 10-point deficit, took the lead. They have held the lead until just a few moments ago when Danny White threw one up for grabs and Doug Cosby came down with it. Ron Springs got it into the end zone, and we have Dallas on top 27-24. A Dallas win tonight. And Minnesota has to travel to Dallas for the playoff game next Sunday. A Viking win, the Vikings would be home to Atlanta, and the Dallas Cowboys would entertain Tampa Bay in the playoffs next Sunday. Septien to kick off. Redwine and Nelson are deep. Great kick for Septien. And the Vikings will have a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line following the touchback. Nightline tonight. What lies ahead for California's controversial former governor? Jerry Brown talks live with Ted Koppel on Nightline tonight.
What lies ahead?
Watch it.
Well, I know what lies behind. Wasn't too good. First down 10, 20-yard line. Tommy Kramer on the night. Got up to kind of a hairy start, throwing that interception to Dennis Thurman. Darren Nelson now in there. Split out to the right is Nelson. Good receiver. There he is. And Nelson over the 30-yard line gets the first down at the 31. Dennis Thurman made the stop.
Well, let's see if Tommy can move his club now, because the Dallas defense has choked him off in this final quarter very effectively.
That's the way I would think is a good way to do it. Start off with those short ones, try to get the ball good there and Nelson out there. And what you call not much panic. Let's just go ahead and take our time. We're just 3 points down.
All the time in the world.
Inside 6 minutes, Darren Nelson. Now he remains as the single setback. Kramer in trouble, and down he goes. Randy White Oddly enough, getting only his second individual sack of the season. But nevertheless, heading for the Pro Bowl.
But the coverage was excellent, and Tommy was right to eat the football. Don't give it away.
Loss of 3. It'll be second down and 13. Led Grant, if you throw in his Canadian victories, he would be the second winningest coach in the history of professional football.
Kind of surprised me. He won 100 and what?
122 up in Winnipeg.
I think that ought to count.
Quick movement.
Movement.
You're beginning to see a little bit of frayed activity over there on that offensive unit by the Vikings.
Ball start, left side offense.
That away, Tommy. Now get them back together. Say, all right, let's hold it in the road, guys. Not that bad.
Means an awful lot to a team like the Vikings. They'd love to stay home.
I
They
think
play indoors, no matter the weather here. They're playing 65 degrees. You got to pack up. You got to make all kinds of different travel plans, and it's jarring.
The black and blue division has been kind of criticized lately. They said there's no good teams there, but they got 4 of them that are in the playoffs.
4 out of 5 in the playoffs.
Not bad.
All 4, by the way, beaten by the Jets.
Second down, long yardage for Kramer. Going for Leo Lewis, incomplete. And Rod Hill in there, the rookie #1 draft pick, was providing the defense for the Cowboys. Cowboys are looking at a lot of folks tonight. Got quick movements.
Yeah, that's kind of coming over the shoulder too, though, isn't it? Close. I don't have a clue what that.
No, I don't either.
Never have. Whenever they throw a flag, I guess they're right.
It's a frustration of some of the defensive backs. I don't think they do either.
Yeah. Some of those calls appear to be at women's caprice.
You gotta be kidding. How many would you say? I think I said that last week, didn't it?
Yeah. Third down, 18. Terry LeCount fell over the yard marker, but he gets the first down at the 46.
You talk about a big play, a third down play.
Almost looked like it was a miss. I mean, they had 2 receivers in the same spot.
That'll keep things alive.
That sure will. He had a hard time getting off the line. Somebody missed him.
Well, he attracted the crowd.
Oops. Looked like his knee went out from under him there.
His ankle pinched.
Error.
They got to get down pretty close for Danmeyer to kick a field goal to get it into overtime.
Yeah.
47-yard line. Kramer and Anthony Dickerson untouched in from the left side, and Kramer drops to the surface. The loss is back inside the 40-yard line.
So again, they need big yardage.
Loss of just about 8. It'll be second down and 18.
Not too many prevent defenses you see when they take the strong safety out. And Benny Barnes does go out in this situation, along with Brunig, Dutton. I guess they take Eggman out too. Got a lot of young backs out there.
Cowboys love to blitz in this situation, but they do not. Kramer, Ted Brown, and Ted Brown with a great catch.
That's a good
He
throw.
knew he was going to be hammered, and he concentrated totally on the ball, and indeed, Michael Downs laid one on him, but he holds on to the football.
That ball was thrown really well, too. It had to be thrown there in a hurry. It was hard, right on the line. He had an opening, and he laid it right in. Good throw timing. You can see he's right over Anthony Dickerson's head, number 51, right in that hole. Zot.
Right, same hole that he threw to LeCount earlier.
That's nice. Like that. Pretty.
Time using Brown. That was a hard hit.
Downs and Clinkscale both hammered Brown. And he'll get it together. He'll be back.
We're at 3:15 and counting down.
First down inside the 37-yard line. Galbraith comes in. Brown gets a breather. Darren Nelson is also in there at setback. Kramer has the time. He has the count. The count right at the first down marker.
I think this is what Tommy indicated before the game, that Dennis does lay off, or he plays a little bit deeper than Everson was. Says I'm going to try to work in front of him. He's done it a few times tonight. That was that a first or close? 8 or 9 yards?
I think it's just about a first down.
They'll measure it.
Yeah, you can't really do that really from here on in too much, because the defensive backs are going to play a little bit closer than normal. But out between those 20s, that's a good place to work. Throw out in front of those guys.
Under any circumstances.
Inches short.
How do you like that?
But Minnesota now trailing by 3 is within the range of Denmeyer, the field goal kicker.
That's the point.
And also, it doesn't really matter that you don't make that first right there. You got a second down. You're certainly in this stage of the game where you're going to use all 4 of them to get it. So Dallas probably would just play their regular 4-3 defense and not go into a short yardage situation.
It'll be second down and inches for the Minnesota Vikings. Tommy Kramer will be thinking not to get sacked. He'll be looking for some way to get rid of the football, if indeed he puts it in the air at this point.
Well, you can look for Ricky Young in a situation like this. They put him in there. He can get it for you with a plunge, and he can get it for you with a pass reception.
Second down and inches. To the 15, first down and 10. Seconds ticking off the clock. We're looking at an overtime, quite possibly. And in case you might be wondering, should the game go into overtime? Should the full quarter expire, the game wind up in a tie? We had one of those earlier this year during the season. It would be the same as a Cowboy victory as far as it affects the playoff picture. Crowd is behind the Vikes tonight. They have played their hearts out. Ted Brown. And it's getting stickier. About a yard for Ted Brown as we head to the 2-minute warning. Vikings, by the way, have 2 timeouts. They used one, remember, earlier. The Cowboys have 3. And there it is. The 2-minute warning will be returning to the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis in a moment. We're back. The situation. 2 minutes remaining in the game. The Minnesota Vikings have a second down and 8. The ball at the 14-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. And Dallas leading 27-24. 2 timeouts for the Vikings, 3 timeouts for the Cowboys.
Win or lose, the Vikings have been a gallant team tonight. They really have.
That they have. And particularly on defense. They played superb defensive football. A safety blitz. The Vikes pick it up. Kramer's the man wide open. It is Ricky Young. He hook slides and gets into the end zone. There's a lot of time remaining.
That's Ricky Young for you. He can kill you in any number of ways. He's an all-purpose football player.
I love to see that bench empty. The defense is out there. Man, they want it. A lot of want to.
Ricky Young. That was only his 4th reception of the season, and what a big one it was for the Vikings.
You see a little fake in the backfield, too Young. Tommy drifts over, turns around, he's by himself. Ball was underthrown. Good move there by Young.
Ricky Young came to the Vikes in '78 for Ed White, who went to the Chargers, and until Ted Brown arrived in '79, he was the Vikings offense. Denmeyer for the conversion. And the Vikings have taken the lead again. 1:52 remaining, and the Cowboys have 3 timeouts. So, call the travel agent again. Tampa Bay, St. Louis, and Atlanta. It's really heady on the part of Kramer, too, Don, because he was really being harassed. Somehow found Ricky Young.
It's a good call here, though, Frank. I mean, it's one of those chance calls. I mean, if he's covered, of course, you can throw it away, but the odds are somebody reading it that way, that's the linebacker's man by the time he comes out of that backfield. They just didn't stay with him.
Might have been a good decision on the part of Bud Grant. His team is tiring, or they have appeared to be, particularly on defense. And he could have worked the ball down, figuring on a field goal to tie it up. But he brought one out of the old playbook and got it in for the touchdown that gave him the lead.
He has coached as fine a game tonight as I think he ever has in his whole career.
He's without his key defensive inside linebacker, Scott Studwell. Now to play tonight, two wide receivers, Ahmad Rashad, Sammy White. Sammy White's been in the game, but he has not been a factor. And they have a 31-27 lead over the Cowboys with 1:52 remaining in the game.
And Dallas has a lot of time.
And Meyer hangs it high for Timmy Newsom. And Newsom gets out over the 30-yard line. In the arms of John Turner, taken out of bounds close to the 33-yard line.
That's where not having a kicker who can kick off for you into the end zone can kill you. Dallas gets consistently good field position on Minnesota kickoffs.
It does mean a lot. Instead of having the ball at the 20, following a touchback, the Cowboys have the ball near the 33-yard line. Anyway, trying to get up to the 50% mark. Inside handoff, Dorsett. And upended is Tony Dorsett. Superb play by John Turner, who, like his teammate Doug Martin, has been a little bit of everywhere tonight. He made that tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And two guys were blocking him.
That's right. Hurry up offense now by the Cowboys. No huddle. Conserving timeouts. 1:24. The clock is moving, and quick movement. I think Dallas, or at least the Vikings, are saying the offensive line pulled them off.
Well, they claim they were induced, but I doubt it.
Well, they sure do look smooth, no matter what you say. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Cowboys will back up 5. Danny White wants a little explanation of it, saying that his men were indeed set.
So far,
Not a start, right side, offense, second down.
so far, not a touchdown pass thrown by Danny White. First time this year. Should it sustain?
Tom's having a hard time handling two careers. It's showbiz and football.
Never easy.
Yeah, tough.
Second down, 17. White underthrows, but Butch Johnson holds on, getting back to the original line of scrimmage, +1, so it will be third down now and 9.
Now, Johnson will hustle out there. He's the only one out there who's really kind of moving around, and he catches a lot of those that are low.
You get it around him, and he will make a great stab at it. Batted down. The 5th time it's been batted down tonight, and Randy Holloway
You
put
believe
the big
that?
paw up on this one.
Holloway, Mullaney, Doug Martin. You can name them all.
4th down. 54 seconds remaining. The crowd on his feet. They've had so much success over the years with these Vikings. Bud Grant, the last 15 years of Minnesota, has won 11 Central Division titles, 1 NFL title, and 3 NFC titles. The Vikings have been to the Super Bowl 4 times. 4th down and 9. Batted down again. And the Vikings will take over.
Love it.
At the 33-yard line.
And they will win this football game. And what a guarantee.
6 times Danny White has seen the ball batted away. And Minnesota appears to be the host team next Sunday to the Atlanta Falcons. while Dallas will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, he's got Cooper working on him. And he just picks up his hand one more time. And that's not a turnout to lights. There's never been one, has there?
Third time, Holloway has batted it away.
I think it might be propitious for you to end the season on that note, singing it.
Why don't you and I propitious together and you kind of hum along there in the background? Are you ready?
I'll sing it myself.
All right, one, and
I haven't an opportunity to sing much.
That's that. Will you join in, Brent? I mean, this is basically it for a while, you know. One, and a 1, 2, 3. Turn out the light.
First down.
The party is
10
over.
for Minnesota.
You're not helping, guys.
Inside the 34.
I say that all good things must end.
Ted Brown working on the clock.
Nice. Those guys better get it in gear, whoever they play next week. It's Tampa, I guess, right?
Cowboys at the belated timeout, using one of theirs. Cowboys can stop it twice more. I want to tell you this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Budweiser Light. The light beer brewed with quality ingredients in beechwood aging for a clean, distinctive taste worthy of the king of beers. By Chevy Trucks and your local Chevrolet dealer. Tough Chevy Trucks are taking charge.
Boy. Well, you know, pride's not too hard to swallow if you just chew it long enough.
That's your decision.
That's it. So they're going to have to chew on it for a little bit. Ever on TV? Yes. This telecast, incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. And I'm on my way. I've done my time. Shoshona.
That man has done his time tonight.
That's it.
Cowboys can stop it twice more. 38 seconds remain. Is second down and 7. Ball resting right at the 30-yard line. And Ted Brown over the left side. Short of the first down, but up close to the 25-yard line. Cowboys still have not stopped the clock. To remind you, as is our custom, as the clock is now stopped by the Cowboys. Remind you to stick around at the conclusion of the game. We want to let you know the names and meet some of the people that have traveled back and forth across the country for so many years. Also, take a look at some of the wild plays that we have seen over the course of the year.
Why not?
Bud Grant can't be much happier about any victory. For Tony Dorsett, an NFL record tonight, 99 yards from scrimmage, one that stood since 1949. And on the night, 153 yards, and Freeman McNeil will be the NFL rushing leader for this season. And when as you watch Freeman McNeil, you get a feeling he's going to be there in years to come.
However, he may not be there in the playoffs. The Jets removed him at the very least precautionarily in the game against Kansas City Sunday.
Kramer hands off to Brown, looking for the first down. Driven backwards. And now Cowboys use their final timeout. And 11 seconds show on the scoreboard clock. Remind you again, we'll be in Honolulu for the Pro Bowl, February the 6th. And Tom Landry will be next Sunday in Dallas, the stadium with the real hole in the roof. They'll entertain Tampa Bay, a team that they managed to defeat during the course of the season, but gave them all they would ever want.
5 times inside the 10-yard line, Tampa Bay. In a game they lost 14-9. They couldn't get it into the end zone.
Part of what it takes to beat the Cowboys is to getting rid of the mystique that's in your mind about playing them, and Tampa Bay certainly has not had any great respect for them. And they really bounced them around in that game, even though they lost it.
Defense won for Minnesota tonight. Great defense, and Tampa Bay has one of the great defenses in this league. Not a happy Tom Landry, you can understand.
How can you tell?
Not bad, though. He set an NFL consecutive winning season record this year. 17 consecutive seasons in a row they have been winning. They've been in the playoffs 16 times. And they're in there against Tampa Bay beginning on Sunday. 4th down, long 2. Cowboys out of timeouts. Brown gets the 1st down. The final nail in the coffin. This game is history. A great victory for the Vikings, who now can unpack, settle in, and entertain the Atlanta Falcons next Sunday. And no finer game for Bud Grant, I do not believe. He did it without his 2 best wide receivers, without Scott Studwell, his top defensive linebacker. And a smile by Bud Grant. We'll be returning to the Metrodome in Minneapolis for a final word in just a moment. Once again, the final score. The Vikings defeat the Dallas Cowboys 31-27. Remember, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline after your local news, 11:30 on the West Coast over most of these ABC stations. Our travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Sinatra sings to the music of Joe Raposo. Here's to the winners, as we ask you to meet the people behind the scenes who make Monday Night Football possible, and as we show you some of our highlight moments this year.